you were trying to say that.
I'm not trying to say it. I'm just saying horizontal, parallel. I mean, I know that.
Yeah, so then the answer to my question of the water, when you're standing on the beach, from where you are to the horizon, is not actually horizontal.
Why is that?
Because in the actual observation there, the water level near you is below the horizontal.
So what? You're talking about a parallel plane. Horizontal plane.
No, actually, I'm specifically trying to get to addressing the conflation that the side is horizontal, but that is being misinterpreted as from
Dude, you're
where you
confusing the
are
fuck
to
out of yourself.
the horizon.
He's been called in, obviously, to damage control, and you gotta feel sorry for him. He's struggling, you can tell.
So, Bev, I posted chapter 1 of an engineering textbook. Can you see what it says there about the Earth's curvature? And there's the link to the book if you want it. It says that the Earth's curvature is accounted for. Why would they account for something if it doesn't exist?
You can account for nothing, right?
Yeah, you can account for a curvature of 0.
Why would you do that? That's a waste of time.
Why would you?
It gives people a chance to imagine that there's some sort of curvature there.
This is your field of expertise. Why are the people in your field measuring something that's 0? They're actually measuring non-zero, by the way.
It's a non-zero error. Even the main surveyor said you can establish a horizontal. What? But why would you? Right, doofus?
Establishing a horizontal is the first thing you do when you survey
That's right.
piece of land.
Exactly.
From
Your point that why would you establish that?
You can extend it, can't you? You can extend that horizontal by showing that there are shared straight line segments. Prove it. So you can sort of prove a straight line in reality using these surveying techniques. I mean,
yeah,
it should be pretty obvious for everybody to realize.
Yeah, if you measure out a mile away, right? You measure out all the way out a mile, and you measure an 8-inch drop. What do you call that? Nobody wants to play my game?
I don't understand your question.
Yeah, if you're surveying, right, doing differential leveling, and you go out a whole mile, and what you measure is an 8-inch drop, what would you call that?
I don't know. You're not giving enough information to answer that question.
It's an elevation change.
Well, I mean, you need to know like what you're measuring.
It would be a measured change in elevation.
Are you measuring a area along a coastal
8
surface?
inches, he just said. He just said 8 inches. I got that.
8 inches.
Right.
Doesn't matter if you're in France.
It kind of does matter where you are, because if you're
will be a grade of 8 inches over a mile
range, it's different than if you're doing it along a beachfront.
Okay, you're doing it along a beachfront. You measure a mile, and in that mile,
all right, don't let me finish my point. It's not important.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to help you, but you
weren't helping. You were interrupting me, but it's fine.
Okay, go ahead and just say it again, because I heard it the first time.
Okay, what did I say?
You're measuring along the coastline. I said, okay, great, that's where you're at.
I said you didn't clarify where we were. That's why I couldn't answer your question.
Right, and we've already talked about this, and you're falling behind, so you're at a coastline.
Yeah, Cleary, you did say you could be anywhere, right? Anywhere. Yeah. It doesn't matter. There's not location dependent, just mile.
It is, because what if you're measuring distance and drop over water?
You don't survey
He didn't tell me where he was.
You don't survey water, do you, Jeff?
You can survey over water.
What do you call that technique?
For building dams.
What do you call that technique?
I don't know what it's called, but they do that when they're building a dam or a bridge.
Really?
Yeah.
How far do they look? They do reciprocal leveling. You're learning things today. Good for you.
So yeah, when you ask questions that aren't clear, I'll say that I can't answer them.
Yeah, you're confusing yourself. That's fine.
I'm not confusing anything. You just need to be clear when you ask a question.
Okay, once again, you could be anywhere that you imagine, and you're survey out a mile, right, using differential leveling techniques. Within that mile, you determine there's an 8-inch drop. What do you call that? Earth curvature or an elevation change? You'll never answer that question.
It depends on where you are. It's different
you
if you're
never answer that question. You'll never answer that
if you're measuring it along a coastline or a riverbed. Whereas if you're measuring over a piece of land, you're going to call it an elevation change.
You're going to call it an elevation change. Okay, then how?
If it's over land, but you're not clarifying your question. You're saying it could be anywhere, and that's not true.
Is your answer it's an elevation change?
I thought I was very clear. I said if you're doing it over a piece of land, you would call it an elevation change.
Land surveying.
Yeah.
Elevation change.
Like I said, you didn't clarify that earlier.
Now that we're clear, now that we're clear on that, how do you measure curvature?
With a geodesy.
With a
measuring
geodesy.
Triangles. Yes.
Measuring triangles.
Measuring triangles, putting them together. You can see that things drop.
Perspective.
Yeah.
What the hell? Come on, dude.
I mean, geodesy is not a legitimate
Euclidean
form of survey?
triangle. Do you survey
I'm just asking, is that not a legitimate way?
I don't know. Do you survey? Do you survey?
I am not a surveyor, no.
Okay.
I'm relying on the information that comes from other surveying.
Okay, what sort of triangles do you think surveyors use? Do you think they use Euclidean triangles with 180 degrees?
They use them, yes. Okay. So here's a type of triangle I envision that surveyors will use. Here, look at that picture. Lovely.
Has that got more than 180 degrees? Are they measured angles for triangles more than 180 degrees?
Did I not already answer that question?
I don't know. Did you?
I did.
What? Go on. What was your answer? I must have missed it.
Okay, I said they do use those triangles. They do use Euclidean triangles. Okay.
So they wouldn't. Why are you posting that? Do they all of those angles add up to 180 degrees?
They use. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not making this up because I don't do this for a living.
Okay.
I'm looking to see what they do.
Nice of you to admit that.
But then they also purport that they use geodesy and they measure a curve. So I take that at face value as well.
They purport to do it. If you talk to
textbooks that I'm quoting from.
Textbooks.
Yeah.
So have you never done any practical surveying then?
I don't know how many times I have to say that I'm not a surveyor.
Well, you know that surveying is like 95% practical, don't you? So you can't read a book and imagine that you can do it.
Oh, so you can't read a book to learn it. Where did you learn your surveying techniques from?
At college. At college. And then I've progressed from there in reality. No, we did loads of practical. It was more practical than anything,
all you do
really.
in college is read books.
Yeah, what do you do for a living, Beth?
What is with the juvenile?
What do you do for a living,
juvenile.
To do that. I'm a carer.
You know
yeah. I'm a carer, left lane. Do you not know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
no, I didn't. You're real quiet. I just, he spoke with so much. He speaks with so much authority.
You're a liar, left lane. He's told you 100 times.
He went to college for surveying.
Yeah, left lane, you little chicken.
Allow each other to speak. Allow each other to speak, man.
I love how they spiral. I just say one thing, spiral out of control.
Now, this shit is ridiculous. You guys are so fucking boring with the you could never believe. You just want to talk about people rather than their data. Just talk about their data, man. Expose it or shut the fuck up.
Yep. I bet the Bev has done more looking through a crosshair than you have. That's practical, everyday usage. Nothing has to do with a book. We don't even break out books when we're doing that. Well, horizontal and measuring from that.
But my point is that Bev questions everybody.
I don't want to talk to you right now. I don't want to talk over me.
You want to talk over me?
Cool down a little bit from you lying to us about it.
What does SCM mean, Rocky?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to talk to known liars right now. Just let me cool down. Maybe come over tomorrow and be nice to us over there, and then come here and lie about people. How about that?
If the RZA is the RZA,
Yeah,
what
laugh
is
as
the
you will,
jizza?
troll.
So,
I have a
like, I
question
posted a
about
picture of
surveying.
triangles that are used to perform geodesy measurements. Like, is that not a legitimate form of surveying? I'm curious, Bev.
Are they sighted triangles? Right? In reality,
They can be measured out by.
People have made triangles in reality. That looks right. Yeah, yeah. They look like real triangles, 180 degrees. All yeah.
So they can be sighted. They can be counted out by footsteps or by chain link. There's multiple means by which they can be performed.
Yeah, and we use triangulation to pinpoint those positions. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All of the triangles have 180 degrees.
And yet you should check the angles when you add all of them up.
There is a mathematical proof for triangles having 180 degrees.
It's called spherical excess.
Yeah.
No,
So when
3
you add all these
points make a
triangles together, that's
triangle,
where the
and if you're
problem is
sighting
lying.
sighting angles.
Stop saying that they're always sighted. I just said there are multiple methods by which you could do this.
So can you just do us a quick drawing of a triangle with 180, please?
Yeah,
you see the ones here that are physically there. They have physical measurements. Then when you go and add the measurements up, you can form triangles that have more than 180 degrees in them.
You can't form a triangle with more than 180 degrees. It's not possible.
There are triangles in these drawings.
There are not triangles with more than 180 degrees. They do not exist.
Bullshit. Draw a triangle on the surface of any sphere, and it will always have more than 180 degrees, Bill.
That's not straight line, Blue.
You're just wrong. Yeah.
They're not straight lines, Blue. Triangles have 3 straight sides.
The surface of a ball is...
Why do you not know about triangles by now?
I'm amazed that a guy that claims to be a surveyor doesn't know these things. How
I don't claim to be a surveyor at all.
He doesn't claim to be a surveyor at all.
I claim to be
How's
one.
that Cavendish going for you, Blue?
Yeah.
Hey, good. Going well.
But didn't he kind of?
How many more years do you think it'll be?
Oh, good.
But
Good to hear from Rakia. What does SCM stand for, Rakia? SCM.
But didn't Bev claim he was certified to do surveying, though?
Yeah, he said he had some kind of certification.
Yeah.
You not know, Rakia?
Never claimed to be a certified surveyor, Blue. Why are you?
No,
he could have had a certificate.
Claimed that.
I'm talking about surveying. I'm talking about your profession.
Jeff, has he ever claimed to be a surveyor?
So, question about surveying.
Ask
Is there
him.
not
Ask
a
Foolish if
tolerance or
he's
variance
a
or a margin of
certified
error
surveyor.
that is used in surveying?
Bev, didn't you claim? Bev, didn't you claim you had a certificate?
Have you ever heard of SCM? You jumped all over a guy for not knowing what PPL was, and you don't know what SCM is, and you claim you're a concrete guy, Rakia. How does it feel?
About surveying.
He is a concrete guy. His brain is made of concrete.
You don't know what fucking fly ash is, do you, concrete guy? Never heard of it, huh?
Who says I didn't know what it was? Do you
You
know
wouldn't
what a
answer the
PPL is?
question. Tell me what it is. What is SCM? What?
Why do I have to answer? Am I at your begging call, sir? Are you denying that I do concrete for a living now?
You think
brain is made of concrete?
You think paving us skills is that your beck and call, Rakia? You want to ambush people with bullshit? How does it feel to you?
You know what I do? Let me ask you something. If I was a truck driver, you think I'd know what a CDL was? What about if I was a pilot? Would I know what a PPL is? That's a very direct question.
Not necessarily. Do you think I've got a CPL in that case, Rakia?
CDL around 50 years ago.
You say that my
You're
life
just a drama queen, man. Just a fucking drama queen. That's all you got, Blue. Is a fucking drama queen bullshit.
Of a 4,000 psi on a 55-degree day.
I'm just jumping this idiot's in this idiot
You
shit.
call people a liar. You're all about personal.
You are a liar,
You're
right?
the only idiot.
You're a liar. You just lied about Bev again. You lied about me moving my instrument 200 feet. You lie all the time. You get everything wrong. You think you're some hot shit.
You moved it every
You're
couple hundred.
nothing,
That's
Blue.
what you
You're
told
just
me.
an old man with a bad
And you're the one that
attitude,
was doing the
with a
lying, weren't you?
hateful heart. That's all you are. You're accusing people of lying every day as you lie. That's
He's a
all you're
YouTube.
doing.
He's a YouTube clickbait troll, man. He doesn't even know what a container
that's
is.
all he is. Every day.
Yeah, you don't need
doing
the
same
container. You
thing.
don't need. You mean that's right.
I'm surprised you didn't know what SCM was, Rocky.
Who said I didn't? You're the one saying I didn't.
Then tell me what it is.
Why should I? Why should I talk to a known liar?
Then I don't. Then
I don't know what it
Who
is.
cares? Who
You
cares
like
what
me
you think?
because I don't know.
Who cares?
You got
what
a
you
lot
think?
of glurf.
You think I ever want to talk to you? You're a known.
Yeah, you're unwilling to defend your position and the statements you made, Rocky. It's okay. We know you'll run away.
Right.
Hey, you're a known liar, Blue. You've actually done the Cavendish experiment. That makes you a liar.
You don't know what a coward
Oh, he did?
liar is.
I thought he failed.
No, he actually did it. 1%, isn't it, Blue?
Oh, everybody told me Blue was a failure.
No, you're incorrect. He's actually 1%,
Yeah.
right, Blue?
No, I think it was right. Yeah. It did
Blue,
fail.
aren't you a failure?
Fail. Looks nice.
Am I a failure?
Aren't you a failure,
In many
Blue?
things, yes.
Great workmanship.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah,
you
you
get
Absolutely.
1% of the accepted value?
Should get
Yeah,
a patent
well,
on
I
it.
didn't get it right, did I?
Well, you
Failure,
did
right?
1% wrong. You only got
Get a patent
99%.
on it.
Isn't 99% an A in most classes?
Well, it was where I went to school, but you know,
okay.
no, according to these guys, it wouldn't be any good.
Or they had school.
I don't think it was any good, was it? Did it work?
Yeah, you got 1% of the accepted.
I heard he was that upset he had to disappear for a bit. He's come
Yeah, I
back
heard he
now,
was
right?
tired.
Yeah,
He comes
yeah.
back and just talk shit.
You did say that, didn't you, Blue? You said you're done with you. I'm done with this. I'm
When did it-
going. You guys are
Like
useless.
Sean Hawkins.
Something like that.
I'm out
Yeah.
of here. I've been emasculated by Jose.
Say what?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
you
what Sean
that what
Hawkins
you?
did.
Yeah, I guess it was Sean.
You don't
Yeah,
remember
Sean.
saying that, Blue? That you were leaving? That you were done?
I'd say that every day when I turn this fucking thing off.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Probably better because
You just lied.
yeah, you're a failure.
I think
Yeah, you got within
Yeah.
1% of the accepted value. I mean, that's a big failure. Yeah, I agree.
that's a huge failure. Yeah.
You sound defeated. You don't sound so confident right now, Blue. What's wrong?
You should be
Oh, really?
embarrassed, Blue.
Yeah,
You
oh,
get-
really?
I am.
You didn't get the
Oh,
value
yeah.
of
I am.
100% right. You should be
No,
embarrassed.
it's just it's always I just get calm and it's always so soothing. It's always so soothing.
Who
when I
would it be
expose
tech
some
to
lying
listen to a
tongues.
fucking moron like Rakia?
Maybe ask me what the curing rate of 4,000 psi concrete is.
Hey,
on a
Rakia, maybe
55
if
degree
you stop
day
bitching,
with a
wouldn't be so
barometric
tired.
Pressure of just pick a value. Maybe ask
And he
that.
doesn't know.
And then
And
claim
he
I
doesn't know
don't
what
know.
Rocky
supplemental.
gets triggered when he doesn't have
then
chicken
you
nuggets.
know how I
I've
would
been
know
chicken
that?
Oh,
nuggets,
what a
guys.
hypocrite.
You know how I would know that?
Hypocrite.
Is because I do it every day. I could give you
Hypocrite.
practice.
You're
I pour
It's
concrete
experience.
every day. My name's Rakia.
Well, I didn't pour concrete today. So
No, I don't
I'm
pour
alive.
concrete. Which is it, Rocky? Do you pour concrete or do you
Well, I
not pour
said I
concrete?
pour concrete
Is your
every
brain
day.
concrete, Rakia?
We're just forming up
Are
today.
you a tugboat man, Rakia?
No, but I do have a boat that I drive.
Oh, I have a boat and I pour raw concrete,
Yeah.
but my name
Yeah.
isn't Rakia.
Yeah, no, my name
But
is
just keep
Rocky.
going around in
Shout out
circles
to
like this.
Cleary. Shout out to Cleary.
Yo.
Right now, we're fixing the short cord gears. We're having a little trouble with the spacing on it. Maybe one of you brilliant book readers could help us.
Yeah, maybe
Maybe
book
book
reading.
readers.
Maybe book reading would be a terrible thing.
Yeah, we're actually taking it apart and changing the gears and greasing it and putting it back
Mhm.
together. We just
Yep.
don't read books about how it works. Doing it right now, actually.
Book
We're
readers,
actually-
man,
that's
that's
a lot of
books.
feel.
Everyone
My God.
saw.
I'm actually on the
I'm
beach
sure you
right
get it
now.
right every time, Rakia. 10 for 10, buddy. Way to go.
We put it back
Way to
together. It
contribute
wouldn't
to
work.
society.
We figured out practically what the problem was. Now we're taking it back.
Book
apart.
reading's terrible, except when it comes to your Bible, right?
Oh, you want to bring up Bible?
You don't
now?
need
Yeah,
don't need to
Bible.
agree when it comes to the Bible. Reading
That's
books
your
is
go-to?
bad.
Is that your go-to?
You're the one who said reading books was bad, not me.
Wait. Did he say he's taking it apart again?
Yeah, we're taking it apart because
We
when
don't
put the
read
cover
books,
on
I'm
it,
Rakia.
it presses against the gear.
Bob
and
looks at a
restricts the
book.
movement. We think it's
No,
spacing. What
you
do you
said
think, Pyro?
No, you said you're taking it apart again, right?
Yeah.
So why didn't you fix it properly the first time?
Well, we took it apart, found a gear that was broken, replaced the gear, but now when we're putting the cover back on, it seems to be restricting the movement. We think it's spacing. What do you think, Pyro?
I'm just asking why you have to do it over again.
Because
the book
something
said so.
is restricting the movement.
Yeah, because he's a failure. But you know, you can only do things once after a failure.
These guys, they
Maybe if
can't
you read
help
the book.
Yeah, can't help yourself, can you?
So Rakia, do you have a high school education? Did you go to do some college
You
too?
want me to answer that question, you moron?
No, you don't have to.
Rocky's
I'm
got
trying to
multiple
understand where you're
degrees.
coming from.
I do have
It's
2
okay.
degrees.
You get like a associate's degree, like Bev said he had in surveying.
Both bachelor degrees. I don't have a degree in surveying.
I've got 33 degrees.
What was your bachelor's degree in?
Business management.
Well, I'm glad, Rocky. I don't think they offer. I don't think any university offers a degree that I know of.
Yeah, I don't either.
It's
I
an
don't have any
associate's degree.
I don't have a certificate in surveying. I've never claimed to be a certified surveyor. I've never even
Right,
claimed
that's
to
why I
have
didn't claim that you did. I said Bev said he.
I just said I use surveying tools to create a horizontal. I can do it right now. So
They did it in 200-foot increments. That's what you told me.
yeah. Is that what you heard?
That's what you said.
That's what he said many times. He failed to listen properly.
You want to pipe up? Maybe I said I did it 200 degrees, 200 feet for a couple times, and I did it 300 or 400 feet other times, and 600 or 700 foot, 800 foot.
Okay, well, I heard correctly. Every couple 100 feet. That's what I heard.
Yeah. What did you miss the other times when I said I did it 400 and 600 foot? Or are you just stupid?
Yeah, maybe he wasn't there when you said him. Move on.
He wasn't there. Yeah.
Maybe he wasn't. I don't know. Really don't care.
You accused me of lying earlier, and now you're admitting that that's what you said.
You said only. I just move it 200 feet each time. No, I don't. You take words, twist it around to make it fit whatever you want to say, laugh, call people liars.
Well, not quite, Rock. Yeah, you're the one that does all of that. You're the one that does that tap dance, not me.
Wonder if they went to high school. Go play with your balls. And
I was wondering if you'd finished high school. Finished.
I have 2 degrees from a small college. Yes, I finished high school. Tell him, Penny. She's telling
you. Chihuahua thing I've heard on your phone, on your microphone.
That's
Chihuahua.
racist.
Watch out.
Come on, don't be racist.
That's Chihuahua.
What is it when you call people subhuman? Is that hate speech?
No.
It's not. It's just normal everyday talk, huh?
You're fucking retard. So if somebody said that everyone who's not Asgardian is a subhuman, let's see. Is anybody in this room is anybody in this room an Asgardian? No, nobody is. Okay. Fucking retarded, man.
I'm half Asgardian.
Calling someone retard, is that hate speech?
No, it's a fact. It's identification.
Are you an Asgardian?
You can prove that.
Guarding asses.
Guarding asses.
We have a lot of trolls in here, though, Kosho.
Dude, this Asia hate speech thing is really weird.
I know. I said that the other night.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's horrible.
Saying it's racist to call someone a chihuahua because he's back there with chihuahuas in the background after he calls you a garbage man because the garbage truck is coming down the street, and you calling that racist is about the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
It is. It is.
Well,
that's pretty weak, right? Snowflake City. Come on, guys.
Kosho, are you an Asgardian?
No, he's just Asgardian. You know, like cock blocking, Asgardian.
Yeah, Kosho.
You've got Autismo here asking, am I being racist again? Go on. What do you reckon?
Well, are you being racist again?
Autismo. I don't know.
Racists.
What do you reckon? Have I been racist by talking about a dog bark, didn't it? Is that racist now?
Yes, it is racist. Because you go
What the fuck is he rambling about?
This was a conversation from like 2 hours ago with Jose. We'd have to explain it all over again.
How because of Rocky's dog barking?
It's not Rocky's dog. It's because of Jose.
No. Talk about.
Come in here crying about someone being racist against him because after he had called someone a garbage man to try and put him down and demean him and was laughing at the man. on his live show, that same man that he was trying to insult called him a chihuahua because Jose owns chihuahuas. And then the idiots turned it into a race issue because Jose owns chihuahuas. Now, if that isn't the dumbest thing you've ever heard, maybe
I think it's a black chihuahua.
It's not like
Rocky. He did elaborate and say that some of the mocks were like him being a chihuahua, and they hashed it out earlier, man.
Yeah, well, if that's true though, that's the concept of the insult.
And Essie apologized.
He's not calling him a chihuahua.
He wouldn't call him that anymore if he felt that way. And then Jose didn't apologize for calling him a trash man.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I'm saying something, man.
And he called him a trash man once, which is a total lie.
What's wrong with being called a trash man?
Yeah, if he's calling him not calling him a chihuahua because he's not racist, and he's calling him a chihuahua because he heard a chihuahua in the background, and that's not racist. That's just fucking retarded.
No, that's
right.
You call somebody a chihuahua just because you heard a chihuahua in the background.
We all know Jose owns chihuahuas.
Jose is just there's just an angry little chihuahua. That's all.
Why do you think?
That's a gray area there, man. Like this. Jumper, it's great.
Snowflake BS, just to create drama.
What are your thoughts on referring to the dog as Chihuahua?
Why would you call somebody something just because they own something? It's like retarded.
Why would you call someone a racist because they called you something?
That is not racist. If you call him a chihuahua because he owns a chihuahua, then that's fucking retarded.
No, he called him a chihuahua because that guy.
Jesse Montreal is a garbage man.
No, but the question is
putting him down. He is a garbage man.
Would Essie, if it was a white guy or a black guy, would Essie have made him do the chihuahua thing just the same? And then if there's an unbalance there, then if it is like a dehumanizing thing, that is where you're positioning the races at that point. And whatever, man.
How is it dehumanizing to call somebody
to not offend somebody's feminine feelings?
I'm saying if we're gonna hold,
bro, you're just making excuses, fucking Rocky.
I'm gonna agree with y'all. We don't need to be snowflakes, but we need to be careful. There's a middle ground here, man. There's a middle ground.
There's a middle ground here, and that middle ground is SE is a garbage man.
Yeah, but see, Jose is just a little tiny dog, right?
Rocky,
he thinks he's a big dog. He's an angry little dog.
You understand the difference? Like, one guy actually is a garbage man. It's his job. The other guy is human, obviously, and owns a dog.
You think Essie is a garbage man?
Your own dogs. They're not dogs.
He is a garbage man. He said it. He's admitted it, bro.
It's not an admission.
Bev, an hour ago, Bev did admit to having a degree in surveying.
Right, which does not exist.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
In surveying, he's only ever said he has.
You guys just troll. You troll. You don't even give a fuck.
I didn't even laugh when he said it. He said, "I have a degree in surveying."
That's why
I just went back on the YouTube. Just went back on the YouTube and heard it.
Oh, Left Lane, you're trying to justify your ignorant lie? That's why you asked Bev. He told you 1,000 times he's a caregiver when asked.
He's never told me what he did for a living.
You're lying.
No, I'm not.
I've been there with you. You're lying.
No, I'm not.
You know he's a caregiver. Yeah, you know he's a caregiver.
No,
yeah, you know. You're lying. You're doubling down now.
Whatever.
Yeah, that exposes you. You're just a liar.
Well, my point was he was.
Yeah, so you are admitting that
you just want to live with a dog. See, fuck that shit, man.
Yeah, screw you, man. No one cares about you anymore that you lied.
Don't you have a boat to fix, Rocky? Why are you in here just talking to us? Sorry, bitching to us.
We think you're a liar too, Rocky, because you don't know what SCW means or whatever.
Hey, Kosha, what's your picture of a boat there?
Also, you don't read books.
It's just Bev. I mean, I made this a long time ago for Bev. I just added some text to it, but no, it's just showing that what horizontal is and where it's horizontal at, and what the water level shows. I forgot to put that it's horizontal from pillar 4, but that's regardless.
Oh, I gotcha. And by the way, did anybody see the Schneider cut of fucking?
No.
I have.
Yes.
There is
like 6 hours long, isn't it?
Yeah, and I gotta say, there is a scene where some scientist character describes an object as being 3.5 million Kelvin. And they're just standing in front of it in the room with no protective gear, and the air isn't catching on fire. Like, that's several orders of magnitude hotter than anything in the universe. Like,
was it a magical item?
I haven't seen the movie yet because I've been bullying Asian people
it was
online.
a magical item, as far as I'm aware. All I know is they also pronounced it Calvin instead of Kelvin.
Ah, so maybe it's a different type of measurement that we don't.
No, bro, they're talking about Calvin molecules in the DC universe.
They're talking about Calvin and Hobbes, dude.
It's a made-up measurement, and it's supposed to be how much magic.
I don't know. I'm just saying that everything in that movie is pretty dumb. Like, it's proud of its dumb. Like, it flexes its dumb in the mirror and checks.
It's a lot better than the other version.
Well, it's a fucking comic book movie, bro. What do you expect? This isn't like a science documentary.
Yeah, you gotta use comic book science, man.
Comic book science, bro.
Come on.
It's a mother box. It's being
just
harnessed.
a little bit of.
It's not a documentary like Interstellar
on the script writers. You know what I mean? Like
Gravity.
That's really stupid.
Who cares? This fool had to make it after his daughter like committed suicide or something, or she died.
Yes, that's what happened. He left the project when she killed herself.
So of course it's not like all super good. So just relax, buddy guy. Relax, bro.
Are you that temperature that you said? I think that does exist.
Calvin molecules.
I agree, it'd be way hot, but
3.5 million Kelvin.
Calvin, bro. Magical molecule measurements.
What's the internal temperature of the sun?
I'm telling you guys, that's not even. They weren't even measuring heat, bro.
Infrared light.
I did think it was weird how it melted
Do we
the
know
one
what the
guy,
temperature of the sun
but
is?
the rest of the people were fine.
Because they're superheroes, bro, or supervillains, whatever.
Yeah, the internal temperature of the sun is about 27 million degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, wait,
How do you measure that?
I think the 3.5
How do you
million
measure that?
Kelvin refers to Superman's heat vision.
So we haven't measured
wow.
How do you measure that?
Obviously, we haven't measured that. Obviously, it's.
I'm pretty sure that they were talking about an object.
Why are we talking about movie measurements, bro?
Well, I figure if we're going to talk about made-up measurements and nonsense, we might as well talk about something that's more entertaining.
So why did it melt that one guy, but the rest of them were fine?
Because they're heroes, bro, or they're supers, and it's a fucking movie, and
because of Wonder Woman powers activate.
Yes, bro.
Oh, sorry,
Batman
that's
was
the Wonder
hanging
Twins.
around
My
and
bad.
shit.
Wait, who did it melt again?
Stop fucking spoiling it.
Spoil it, bro. Who cares? Spoil it.
If you see the first one, it's pretty similar.
It's the same movie.
It's pretty similar.
Yeah, it's the same movie. It just fills up some plot some plot stuff. That's it.
Hey,
Anyone hear me play the harmonica?
It did seem to change enough of it. It's a different movie.
The premise is the same.
Steppenwolf, they changed how some of the characters look. I like that. I enjoyed that.
Oh yeah, Steppenwolf is a lot better.
Yeah, apparently they fixed the mustache too.
They did.
Yeah,
he's not there anymore.
You can't fix that mustache.
They could have done that much cheaper if they would have waited.
I don't think they used any footage where he had a mustache.
Of course.
Why can't
He had a mustache the entire time.
Dude, he had a
that mustache for the Mission Impossible movie. Ridiculous.
Not the entire time.
Not the entire time. He had to reshoot part of it.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was because of the other guy who brought him in.
What?
Whedon?
Yeah, Whedon brought them back, and I guess that's when he had the mustache.
So I'm saying that they had to reshoot some of the scenes.
Who has a mustache? I feel like lots of people had facial hair in that movie.
No, Henry Cavill had a mustache because he was shooting another movie, and they wouldn't let him shave his mustache for 2 weeks.
He grew a mustache.
Why didn't they just give him a fake mustache?
Because they're different studios, and they they didn't want to fucking help them out.
Did you guys see that video of Sleepy Joe fucking tumbling up the fucking Air Force One?
Yeah, what about it?
This dude's gonna die soon. I think he's. I think.
What?
He's
You never
die in
tumbled
his
up the
second
staircase
year?
before?
No, I don't think I have, because I walk right.
Oh, man, I've done that plenty of times.
And I'm young and full of energy. I'm not like dying on death's door.
Yeah, he's gonna die soon. He's like 80 something.
Drugs.
Wow, the one on the right looks worse.
Queen of England. How old is that bitch?
Listen, I fall running up the stairs
She's
all
90,
the time.
91, I believe.
I fall running up the stairs all the time. That's me in my personal house, though. I'm not the president running up the steps of Air Force One.
Well, you're
and
kind of
everyone's
fucking
watching.
retarded.
You also only have one eye, Jeremy, so let's cut some slack.
Guys, don't cut people off.
They can't control themselves, Coach.
I'm being serious. Like, this is not going to be tolerated. Just don't do it. Yeah.
You're going to keep tolerating it, Coach.
VD, apparently the surface temperature of the sun at the very least is 5,000 Kelvin.
Right. But the interior is estimated to be 27 million.
Is it?
Yeah. I posted a link.
Yeah, the core of the Earth is hotter than the surface of the sun.
How did he measure that?
So we haven't measured the temperature of the core of the sun, Bev.
You've not.
Because the closer the sun
they
gets,
understand
the
how
hotter it feels.
heat is
So
lost.
Just imagine it then.
If I keep getting close to the sun, it's going to keep getting hotter and hotter, right? So there it is.
I'm sure they're not making any presuppositions
Either way,
on this
the fact
one.
that they were standing next to an
The only
object
the only
that is
I have about the
hotter
sun
than
is that
space.
the closer
Get
I
hotter
get, the hotter
it's
it
still
gets.
pretty
The
ridiculous.
closer you get to it, is it? Like radiated heat?
The closer I get, the hotter it feels, man. That's all.
So space is hot. Space
You
is
don't have
hot.
anything important to say. Don't cut somebody off to say it, please.
Yeah, read the link.
Why
I'll
don't
post
you
it
tell
again.
us more about your 2-year surveying degree, bro?
A degree? Why'd you keep saying that?
That's their new thing. Their new
Oh,
trolling
right,
thing.
they want to go to a degree, do they?
You have this
Yeah.
mastery over surveying, right? You went to school.
Yeah. I'm the only
people,
person around here that has a qualification in land surveying. Isn't that amazing?
Now you're saying you do have qualifications in surveying. Which is it?
Who lays concrete?
I have I've got a certificate. It's up on the wall. You know, like Dr. Becky. It's up on the wall by the side of me whiteboard.
Becky's a doctor? What the fuck?
He's talking about the astrophysicist, Dr. Becky.
Yeah, she has a certificate up on
I
the
don't know
wall,
who that
doesn't she?
is,
On
because I
the
don't care
desk,
about-
sorry.
I don't live my life thinking about like scientists and stuff.
Well, certificates come in degrees, right? Like
Yeah, you can get a degree certificate. Yeah. I haven't got one of them. Just got a land surveying qualification. That's all. Just a basic one.
Why
Just
did
a
you need
basic
to get a land surveying?
What sort of land surveying
Do you
qualification?
make roads and stuff?
Land surveying.
What do you do?
Land
Yeah,
surveying.
what- yeah,
the
yeah,
surveying
what-
of the land
what
with the tools
level of
to
qualification?
survey the land.
What-
It's
Yeah,
just
but why
basic.
would
Like I
you-
said,
It's just a
like,
certificate.
it's
It's like a
basic.
12-week course.
Yeah, but
That's
why
what
would
it
you
is.
do that?
Just a
So you're not
basic.
referring. You're not referring to your fake GCSE then.
What, a fake GCSE? That'd be
You,
bad, wouldn't it?
you
if
have
somebody was-
displayed a heavily edited
Who's
GCSE
this?
supposedly
Who's this?
showing land surveying.
Wow,
You-
these guys are clowns.
There has
Farmers
never
book.
been, nor is there now, a GCSE qualification in land surveying.
What's that on my wall then?
I don't know. I can't see your wall.
It's a certificate
Zone
for
deeper.
land surveying.
What type of certificate? That's the
A cer-
question.
What do you want? A general certificate of secondary education. Like I say,
There
basic.
is no
land surveying.
GCSE
And
qualification in land surveying.
What's that on my wall then?
I don't know.
Farmer's
I can't
boy?
see your wall, can I? Fuck's sake.
Are you saying there's somebody out there that has faked a certificate given from the education board in the UK? Are you saying that's what you say I have done?
Let the record
Is
show
that
that
claim?
no one.
Show us
That-
evidence.
That's
show
what
us
it would
evidence of
appear
your
to
wall.
be, yes. Because I am not aware that there ever was or ever has been or is now a GCSE in...
You know everything. You know everything.
Right, so have you
right?
seen my certificate? And have you seen that certificate and gone, that's definitely a fake certificate?
I mean, there may.
I have seen what you presented, which was obviously a redacted.
There you go. Look at it. Somebody's put it. Autism. Yeah, there you go. Well done, Gary. Well done, Gary. Well done.
Yeah, that's the one I'm referring to.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Nice job.
So what's fake about that? What's fake about it?
That's not a lesson that was ever taught at GCSE
What?
level.
Oh, I know what you're saying.
Fake about it, farmer's boy.
There's no GCSE qualification in land surveying.
Well, what is that then?
You tell me.
It's a certificate for land surveying given to me by the General Certificate of Secondary Education. It's there. It's signed. It's actually there. Look at it.
You think that's proof, do you?
Of me having that certificate? Absolutely.
It is from 1991, so maybe they don't offer it anymore.
They never offered it then either.
What's that then, farmer's boy?
You tell me.
Also, I don't think this is equivalent to college.
I definitely went and sat that exam because it used all of the 2-year coursework to add to that. And we sat it.
GCSE replaced the O-level. It's what you sit when you're 16 and leave school. I mean, you can't now because you have to stay on to secondary education.
Yes, it's an extra qualification that they offered us. We had to pay £25 to be able to sit that. But the teacher said, it'll be good because it's just an extra qualification for you. All of your coursework will be put in. All you'll have to do is go and sit an exam. So that'll be it. You don't need to do any practice. You're doing all of the work over 2 years. Just at the end of the 2 years, you can sit this course as well and just get another extra qualification.
So what other course were you sitting then? Because you didn't do this at school, did you?
No, it was at college. How many times do I have to say this?
Yeah, colleges in the UK don't give out GCSEs. That's further education. That would have been BTEC.
Yes, the other one. Yes, the other course I did was a BTEC, National Diploma in Building Construction. Now, the teacher, when we were doing it, said this is very surveying heavy, and there's a chance you can do an extra qualification. Just pay for it, and you can do it. You can get a certificate. Now, I forgot about it. Didn't make any difference. It was only a little qualification that I had in my earlier. Strange, isn't it? That I grow up to come and get triggered. Well, you guys get triggered by my qualifications.
Who's
me
triggered?
saying that a straight line level is a straight line on a horizontal plane.
No,
that's what I've been taught at college when I was doing this surveying. Yes,
I'd ask for your money back. I don't know what they would be like with interest.
That's for your mind back, bro. You took an L in your heart.
A and C intersect B. Whee!
So what is that your best claim, farmer's boy? Just that you don't think it is real, or you actually calling me fraud? Right? Are you saying I've defrauded the UK education system by frauding a certificate of a course that didn't ever exist?
I don't know.
Is that what you're saying, farmer's boy?
All I've got is a heavily redacted photo to go by.
Yeah, all you've got is your hope that you can slander me into saying that I haven't. It's a real certificate, farmer's boy.
I've got absolutely no hope, want, or desire in trying to slander you. I mean, you make yourself out.
Why did you bring it up? Why did you say it's fake?
Yeah, why'd you bring it up if you have no?
Oh, and here comes the other one. You can fuck off for a start, Racky.
No, I'm just using
won't talk to fucking you.
Again, and I just got to
sorry, Racky. Yeah, I apologise. No, I apologise. That's your job to lie. I'm sorry. I'll try not to. I know it's your job to fucking lie, and you can't help yourself. But
you're the one lying.
Yeah. You just made up shit and slandered me, right?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. Everybody heard you. Everyone heard you.
Any shit up?
Yes, you did. You said it was a fake certificate.
Did I say it was fake?
Yes. You said they didn't do it.
Correct.
Well, they did. I've got the certificate.
They don't do GCSE in land surveying.
Maybe not anymore.
They didn't then either.
They did. I've got a fucking certificate. You dick.
Oh, I'm a dick. Okay, with that.
Yes,
Bev, I got a
yes,
question
you
for you.
are saying
Yeah.
you've defrauded the education system
No, I didn't
in
say
the
that.
UK.
No, didn't say
But
that.
maybe
at all.
you
It's a
didn't do
real-
enough work in that
It's a
particular
real
discipline.
certificate.
Maybe the discipline doesn't go deep enough to really get into the curvature of the Earth.
I should go.
Because you know what? We've already done the experiments. We've already done the tests. We've already done the measurements.
Who's
And
that, Zanuck?
everybody knows
Go
that
away,
there are not on Earth. There are not parallel plumb lines. Now, why don't you know this?
Everybody knows that. How do they know that, Zanuck? Go on.
They measure it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that would mean intersecting horizontal, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Yeah,
It
who
would.
said yeah?
Measured that.
Yes,
said
it
yeah?
would, and that's what they see.
Right, okay.
I just showed them. I
Okay,
just showed the
intersecting
measurement.
horizontals. Go.
Main surveyor, who's actually a professional surveyor,
He's
did
in
the
here.
test
Where
over
is he?
hold on,
Hiding. Where is
over
he?
400 meters. 400 meters and showed
Is he
a
gone?
deviation of 16
Doofus.
minutes, 16 seconds.
Who's the
16
main
arc
surveyor?
seconds of deviation.
Doofus.
Let's let
Doofus,
him
he's in
speak.
here.
16
Doofus.
arc seconds of
Yeah.
deviation. Now, do you not
Are you
think he did
speaking
it
for
correctly,
him?
or do you not understand what he did?
Doofus, tell us what you did.
Yep. Come on. Come on,
Sure
Doofus.
he's here.
Come on.
If you're using him, the main surveyor, he's got to be around, right?
He's here. Doofus.
Come on, Doofus. Defend yourself. Come on.
He did say earlier he wasn't a surveyor. Might be now to say that he was the main surveyor. Might be a bit tricky for him to do that. But
Maybe he lied to you, Zanuck, because he's fucking chicken to talk now.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? You're defending that guy, and he won't even speak up.
No,
for
I have
himself.
the data. I have the data for the measurements. How do you know he did it?
You have his data.
How do you know? How do you know
shit.
he's the main server? Do you know main server? Not main like an MAIN. Main like the
Doofus.
state.
Yeah, Maine and like where he was surveying at. His
Yeah,
name.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
we
that's
get it.
Doofus. Doofus main is main surveyor.
He gave
Yeah.
you his
Yeah.
data.
I don't
That's
know
how
who it
you
is.
know he's
All I know is
right.
what the data shows. But
Yeah,
see,
we
I don't
got
have to
no
worry
clue.
about him because I've done the measurement myself. And I've
oh,
posted-
really?
Well,
yes,
then why would you bring up the main surveyor?
because when you do
Go on.
science, you do
Where's your
multiple
measurement?
tests. Hold on, let me finish. Multiple tests, multiple data, and I've got all of that. So when I produce my tests and my evidence, you dismiss that as well. So
We haven't
all the
seen it.
evidence
What
points-
have you done?
Hold on,
I'll get you a
hold on,
picture
hold on,
of your,
hold on,
your
hold on.
evidence, right?
Hold on.
Post it.
All the evidence points to non-parallel plumb lines, and you're denying it. Why?
What evidence? What evidence?
I posted again. I gave you the HUD display, horizontal below, the horizontal above the horizon,
Yeah,
the level
I've got
horizontal,
loads of your stuff.
the level horizontal above the horizon.
Wibbly
by
wobbly
3
line,
degrees.
that's level, right? That's one.
Level is horizontal.
What does
Good
level
job.
mean? What does level mean?
Is that
What
Earth
does level
curve?
mean?
Is that Earth curve?
What
Zach?
does level mean? Level means an
Horizontal.
orientation perpendicular to plumb.
Yeah,
An
horizontal.
orientation,
Level's
an
horizontal.
orientation perpendicular to plumb. Now that curvy line is oriented perpendicular to plumb, meaning like average. Then yes, that would be a line that is straight, even though it's curved.
That's not a measurement, Zanuck. I hate to tell you. That's just
All
that's
lines
just
will have some
measurement.
type of variations in it, unless they're perfectly straight. But we don't have perfectly straight lines in reality.
Tell us
What?
what you measured with your heads-up display again, please. Go ahead.
You say there's
Which-
no straight lines. What's that? Did you really just say that, Zanuck? How do you get your balls rolling to the centre? I go. Your plumb bobs pointing down to the centre and the level being level in the centre. How does that happen if there's no straight lines?
Maybe someone else wants to come in.
Yeah, somebody come and save Zanuck. He said a load of stupid shit and
Zanuck
now
came
can't
in and
back it
saved
up.
the other guy, and now someone needs to come in and save Zanuck. Seems like
I
a
don't think
recurring
there
theme.
is straight lines, technically speaking. Like we
Oh,
already
right.
been through this.
There's no such thing as a straight line now.
Yeah, well, what's a ruler, dumbass?
Well,
there we go.
A ruler isn't technically speaking straight again on the molecular level.
What?
Of course, we can define if you want to talk about something else than molecular level, then we can define what the question is. But in terms of molecular level, for example, the actual physics, no.
With the molecules.
Holy shit! A ruler is a giant's fingernail, obviously, from the thumb.
This is how far.
Is a plumb line straight?
Right here.
Is a plumb line straight?
A plumb line straight.
Okay.
A plumb line is straight enough. It's not completely straight. It's straight enough.
So there are straight lines.
It's an no, it's not. Hold on.
It's not completely straight.
A plumb line is the line itself. We're talking about not a physical line A to B, the shortest distance between 2 points. We're talking about actual physical line. No, it'll never be perfectly straight, but the orientation is straight. So are you talking about a line being straight? Or hold on, let me finish, Bev. Stop being fucking rude. An orientation perpendicular to plumb is different than the actual line itself. Even though the word line is in both terms, they're different. See, this is the problem with flat earthers. One word, two different meanings.
Who's a flat earther? Why are you talking about flat earthers like that?
So I said the orientation perpendicular to plumb. That is a line straight down. It's not a drawn line.
Yeah,
it is an orientation
vertical.
line. It's an orientation line. So when I show you
vertical and horizontal, perpendicular.
No, horizontal is not. It is perpendicular to the plumb. Correct.
Vertical.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But
So it's
hold
plumb
on.
itself.
But that means we have intersecting horizontals because if you move at any distance, any direction, they will not be.
No, horizontals.
Let me finish. They will not be parallel. That's why we see the horizon below. We see the horizon below an orientation perpendicular to plumb. The horizon,
Wow, what a simpleton.
The horizon
Damn.
is
The thing is, so
below
if
it
they
by
show
3
you the
degrees.
horizontals intersecting, it's probably a ball or something.
It's a ball.
right?
That's why you have the intersecting
Mhm.
lines. That's how it works.
Caveman logic.
If you're a
Gotta love
surveyor, Bev, you're the dumbest surveyor on the planet because you don't get basics.
I'm not a surveyor. I'm not a
I want to
surveyor.
see you challenge him. I'm here, man.
Right.
I'm here for you to challenge that, not act like an idiot and that you don't understand it. Let's go.
Are you having a go at Zanuck?
Let's go, mother.
Who's this?
If
You
I
having a
have
go at
So which
Zanuck?
one is it? Which one is it? Are you a surveyor or not? Because we've heard both lines.
Damn,
No,
you're stupid. How many times do you have to say it?
Yeah, okay, right. Do you want me to say this again then? Okay. I went to college years ago and I did building construction. In that, it was very surveying heavy. We did draftsmanship, we did all sorts of stuff. Before computers,
So
it
the,
was
so the
really
earlier-
old school
the-
stuff. And it was called land surveying back in the day, right? So I did that at college and then I carried on living my life. And it turns out now I'm a carer, right?
Sure.
I'm not a surveyor, but I do have a surveying qualification from earlier on in my life.
Yep. So the statement from earlier when you said that that was just. Of course, people can misspeak, so I'm not going to hold it against you.
What did you say I said? Go on.
That you're a surveyor. You said that.
I said I have a surveying qualification.
Well, I already kind of gave you the out, because it's on the tape that you say that you are a surveyor. I gave you an out by
You're
you
just
saying
trolling,
that.
Laurie. You're just weak ass
Wow.
trolling, Laurie.
Is
That's all
that's
you do.
the best you've got? Yeah.
Yeah.
So when
so if-
when you are in the act of surveying, what do you call yourself? Just for a matter of course. If you were looking through a auto level and measuring a distance, what would you say you were in the act of doing?
I would. I don't have the necessarily the background to answer that question because there are
obviously you wouldn't do surveying yourself practically. Obviously, I'm not saying
that
about
would be,
you.
that would be considered surveying. Now, are you qualified to do it? You said you're qualified by your class work. Everybody has taken science or math or geometry has
No,
done
you
some
don't need
level
to
of
do a
surveying
qualification
coursework.
to look
Doesn't mean
through an
you're
auto
qualified.
level, Zanuck.
It doesn't mean you're qualified. It doesn't mean you're qualified.
You
you
have a
degree,
qualification.
You studied a little bit.
Let
me speak. Somehow they didn't go over non-parallel plumb lines or the curvature of the Earth, and that's fine. They don't probably focus on that because that's assumed in most classwork. But I showed you
Which
definitive
classwork,
proof.
Zanuck?
I showed you definitive proof that the horizon is below level. The horizon is below an orientation perpendicular to the plumb.
Yeah, the horizon is below the horizontal. Yes.
Curved surface beneath you. Yes. Because if you fly level, you never get closer to the surface of the earth.
I won't fly level. Don't talk to me about flying.
Over me, Bev. No. You twit. Stop it. The plumb line is always straight down.
I will never fly.
The angle always changes as you move. Okay, I'm done with you. Sorry.
I had a question about surveying. In surveying, is there not a tolerance or variance or margin of error?
You try and be as exact as possible, right?
Yeah, according to the equipment manufacturers, they provide one for liability purposes that you can measure with calibrated equipment, dead on accurate, within the limitations of the instrument.
Accurate to 1 millimeter over a 1 kilometer double.
No, didn't main surveyor tell you about the 14 to 16 seconds of deviation that was right within the spec of the error? That's allowed and expected for the tool being used. Auto level.
No, an auto level gets calibrated to horizontal, and it's accurate to within 1 millimeter.
No, accurate to the limits of the line.
Run. Otherwise, you have to get it calibrated again.
It's accurate to the limit of the line you see in the screen. It's always going to be that way because it's a visual device. Yes, the lens you look through, the visual.
Not
the visual correlation that you will make with the lens has an accuracy basically dependent upon the thickness of that line in the screen and what you're looking at the distance you're looking at it from.
Yeah, you don't look too far, right? Because you want to try and keep it millimeter
I said
accurate,
400 yards, 400 meters. I said 400 meters, and I said we're off by
400 meters is way off, dude.
14 to 16 seconds off.
You do,
dude.
You've looked 400 meters.
Tolerance of the accuracy limit of the actual device.
You've actually started to do this now. You've done surveying. I'm proud of you. But you're 400 meters, you say?
400 meters, yes.
Yeah. What sort of auto level have you got? Specs on it? No, I want to see the specs on it.
Main survey went over in great detail what the specs.
No,
you screwed up source.
You, Zanik. You said you've done it. You've made measurements. You have.
I have the specs on what my measurement.
Yeah,
my measurement.
What are the specs for your auto level, Zanik?
Let me hear this idiot talking over me. You asked me.
Yeah, let's see a picture. Come on.
Stop it. So I gave my measurement was the HUD display. Now that was 3 degrees over the horizon. 3 degrees. A orientation perpendicular plumb. 3 degree differential in angle above the horizon in the distance.
Heads up display horizontal.
Heads up display.
A drop of horizontal from another.
If you want, hold on. If you want to do something more rudimentary, you can use a bubble level, or even a bottle of water. You can do the same thing.
In a plane.
Are
we on the floor now? What's happening, Danny?
You can hold it up here, hold it up to your eyes, and orient that level.
Were we just in a cockpit of a plane, and now we're holding a bottle up?
In the plane, either use the head display, or you can be right next to the head display. Use a bottle of water or a level, whatever you want.
We call that.
Stop. Yeah. Let me finish a fucking sentence, please.
Surveying.
All you can do, those 3 things you can do in the cockpit or on the plane, you can see that the
plane surveying. Yeah, I like it, Sonic. Might catch on.
Yeah.
Plane surveying.
Here we go again. You do 2 words that sound the same. One's spelled differently. Plane, plane, or plane. 3 words. They all sound the same, but they mean different things.
How accurate are you?
HUD, heads up display, HUD.
How accurate do you want to be? There's always going to be some error.
What's your accuracy?
Every measurement you take, there'll be some measurement.
Somebody asked me for the accuracy of my tool earlier. What is the accuracy of your plane surveying, please, Zanik?
Which plane? The plane?
I said 1 millimeter over a 1 kilometer double run. Right? What is the accuracy of your plane surveying?
2 to 3 arc seconds.
Of what? An angle?
Oh my God! Are you that stupid? That's what that means.
I just want to know what an angle has got to do with them.
Define what an arc second is, you moron. What's wrong with you?
Go on. Explain to everybody what an angle is.
It's a fraction of a degree. And a degree is an angle that is part of a 360 circle.
Yeah.
Are you that stupid? Seriously, you can't be this dumb. You cannot be. It's not possible.
Carry on, Zanik. It's an angle, and carry on. I said 1 millimeter because that's 1 millimeter.
Well,
People can
that's
have an
not-
idea
we're
of
not-
that. Yep.
What does a millimeter mean? What are you referring
It
to?
means
A
1
is a
millimeter. You can
distance.
look at it. It's on a thing.
millimeter
Isn't
is
it?
a differential position.
Yeah, 1 millimeter. That's an accuracy.
That's not
So,
accuracy.
Curious question.
You can't. That means nothing. That's like how fast
It's
does your car
within
go?
1 millimeter.
My car goes
Like,
a mile per hour.
that's how accurate it is.
MPH.
Within a millimeter.
A millimeter
means
means
you can go a kilometer one way and come a kilometer back, and you will be within the millimeter.
So
Pretty
that
easy.
millimeter over the kilometer, how many arc seconds is that?
A kilometer double run.
Or this kilometer double run, how many arc seconds is that equivalent to?
It's just a millimeter, dude.
And over the actual extent of the kilometer double run,
well, you know,
how
an
many
angle.
arc seconds
An angle
does
is
that
just two
actually
lines.
equate
It's the
to?
inclination of two straight lines. The inclination of two straight lines is an angle. I don't know what is it you're trying to say.
Yeah, it's not a millimeter. It's an angle, not a millimeter. Get it
Right,
straight.
but a millimeter is a definite number.
No,
right?
it's a measurement of distance. It has nothing to do with accuracy unless you could
Yeah,
apply.
because that's where
distance.
you would
It
be.
doesn't have-
When,
okay,
when
I'm
you
done.
are establishing
It's time for
an
sure I'm done.
elevation mark and you
Right,
start
that's
on your
fine. That's what's better than
benchmark
mine.
and you close your loop because you return back to the place that you started, you have an accuracy check that you will be within 1 millimeter over a 1 kilometer double run. That means
there we
1
go.
kilometer.
Over a kilometer. Now we're getting
1
somewhere.
kilometer
Now we're
back.
getting somewhere. Hold on. Now we're getting. You finally did. You finally.
That's
answered
what he
your own
said
question.
earlier.
Stop it.
Monk.
You said
Yep.
now a millimeter kilometer. Now, if you have a millimeter over a kilometer, all you need to do is take the
A 1
millimeter.
kilometer
Stop. Let me
double
finish.
run.
If you're not letting me
Zanik,
finish,
you
I'm not
don't know
gonna stay with
fuck all
you.
about surveying
Okay,
at all.
Sorry, done. Sorry, bye.
It must
Sorry,
be
bye.
embarrassing.
Bye, Zanik.
See ya.
See you later. By the way, you can't measure anything from a heads-up display in an airplane, sir. It's just an indicator. Bye.
Yeah. And an angle doesn't mean anything. For anybody else that wants to pick that one up, I'm ready and waiting.
Not just an angle he's trying to use. He's trying to use an angle to a apparent position in the sky in the distance at altitude in a plane.
You know, the thing about an angle, it keeps getting bigger as the further you get away, right?
On a flat plane.
do with an
Not
angle?
correct.
So how
The
can
angle
that be an
does not
accuracy
change.
thing?
My point, Hot and Bev. That was my point.
No, the angle doesn't get bigger.
Oh, hold on, Zanik. That was my
An
point
angle,
to you.
an angle does
Bev,
get bigger.
Bev,
The two lines get further.
That's what I'm
apart.
saying.
They
That's what I said
never
earlier.
enclose any
Zanik, stop,
space.
stop cutting people off, man. I've already said this to you before, though, Bev. The angles, that's true on a flat plane. The angles get bigger as you go farther away on a flat plane, but it doesn't work the same way on a sphere.
Angles don't work the same
Angles
on
don't
a
get bigger.
sphere.
Angles don't get bigger. They stay the
he's
same.
talking about in reference to an object in the sky and the point right underneath.
No, I'm
it.
talking about the way they work around a circular space, right?
No,
Surely
they
you
don't.
know
They
that
get
a
they're evenly
radius.
spaced.
Yeah, they're radiuses, right?
Joshua, I think you're making it confusing by saying that because that's not true. The angle will always be the same. The distance from one point to another as you go further away will be larger. That
Yes.
different.
Yeah, that's what he's
How
saying.
do you know what
the angle
accuracy
always
you're
stays
talking
the
about,
same.
Zanik?
That's what he's saying, Zanik. I understood that. That's what I'm saying. On a flat plane, that's the way it works. It doesn't work the same way when you do it on the surface of the sphere. They go that
Zanik,
based on the surface of the sphere.
If you have an angle, if I have an angle to the surface on a flat sphere, that angle will stay the same. The distance between the top object and the surface will change. That'll be larger as you get further
Yeah,
away.
that's what I'm saying.
That's what we're saying, Zanik.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you're saying the angle changes on a
Where's the
sphere.
accuracy measured then? Well,
The
you were
angle
talking
change-
about a
the ang-
degree of accuracy.
Yes.
How is
Yeah,
that?
plus
Where's
or minus
that?
plus or minus
Because
a
I'm talking
degree.
about a millimeter.
Because that doesn't make the millimeter makes no sense unless you have a distance tied to it. Now, if you have a distance
1
tied to it-
kilometer.
okay, then you take 1 millimeter, divide it by a kilometer, and take inverse tangent, and that'll give you the angle. Makes sense?
Nah, it's
That's called
just a, no,
trigonometry.
it's just a
Called trigonometry.
benchmark
Welcome to class.
to
Ding, ding, ding.
another
Class is now over.
benchmark,
Wow.
right? You don't need to do angles. There's no vertical angles associated with an auto level. It's a bit of a flaw, but they're not bothered about vertical angles. It's just a device for establishing horizontal. Straight line. No grade.
Extremely
Even.
accurate when used properly.
To 1 millimeter over a 1 kilometer double run. Now you could do 2 1 kilometer double run, and it'd be a millimeter also.
Yeah. What Earth curve with such a accurate measurement, Bev?
Yeah. I mean, well, there's a claimed drop from that horizontal, right?
Yeah.
Claimed drop.
What you're not getting here, Bev, is that obviously your tool is given with an arcsec accuracy and not over a kilometer accuracy. It's right there on the box. Everybody that owns one or have any familiarity with the manual would know
You got
that.
one? You got one?
I used one several times. It says arcseconds on the ones I used.
Arc seconds for an auto level.
Accurate.
I tell you what, I've got me user manual. What am I looking for?
Yes, accuracy is given in arcseconds.
The setting accuracy. The setting accuracy.
No, the accuracy of the instrument is given in arcseconds. How is that hard to get for you?
Standard deviation for a 1 kilometer double run changes. It seems to change by how good your scope is. 20 times scope is a 2.5 millimeters, but if you've got a 32 times scope, it's a 1 millimeter.
It's almost as if the accuracy for the given scope is supposed to be right there on the box, isn't it?
On the box? No, there's nothing wrote on the box, mate. It's like a working box. Surely you've seen a
certification. Wherever you write shit like that, it's supposed to be given in arcseconds because you don't not always.
It's an auto level. It doesn't measure vertical angle. Why would it measure? Why would you have an angle of accuracy?
It is supposed to give you the accuracy, and the accuracy is going to be given in arcseconds. It's not very hard to get.
It said it's a 1 millimeter over a 1 kilometer double run. That's the accuracy of it.
Which is an angle.
And you can show me where
it's not an angle. It's a bloody measurement. 1 millimeter. That's not an angle.
And you can show me.
You guys really need to start learning about this geometry and what an angle and a measurement.
Bev, and you can show me where it says that in the manual.
You need somebody to teach you about right line geometry, don't you?
Rise over run is a slope, which is an angle.
Yeah, obviously it's an angle. Everybody, basically knows what this is about.
Right.
Bev doesn't think it's an angle, which is ridiculous.
Horizontal and vertical, right? Are the when you're doing surveying, rise over run to find a grade.
Accuracy of it is going to be given.
Wow, Zanik, brilliant! That's a great one, that Zanik. I like it. That's the intersecting horizontals over a lake.
Yeah,
right.
They're crossing right there in the center, aren't they? It's a little interesting.
Do you think they're horizontals if they're intersecting?
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, right. So there's a guy that you think, a surveyor, that has done this thing, and he's shown you that there is a hump of water and also intersecting horizontals in the mid position across those two.
How is that confusing to you, Bev?
How it's not confusing to me, because I think sheep and brainwashed people will believe anything that people show them, even when that person didn't actually say that. You will make your own mind up to think that he has said that, and you are going to be so pissed when he says, "I never actually said that." Isn't that right, Doofus? Is he still here?
They're cute. Generally showing us that the horizontals he's got there is intersecting.
Horizontals do not intersect. They don't.
Not parallel. How are you confused by this?
I'm not confused by it. I'm just telling you, horizontals do not intersect.
Plumb bobs are not parallel, and horizontals do intersect on the Earth.
That's a nice big fat claim you've just made there. Very good.
Doofus has the mute. Doofus has the mute because he's fucking laughing at you right now.
Yeah.
Do you hear him pipe in a little bit?
Yeah.
it could angle, and then he mutes
Well,
himself.
Bev, let's just ask a quick question on that, because that's an interesting point. So if plumb bobs are not parallel to each other, would horizontal lines, tangential lines from that plumb intersect?
Tangential lines from the plumb? I'm not so sure you know what you're talking.
So
do you want to rephrase that one again?
If I've got a datum point, which is a plumb, yeah, and I take a line at 90 degrees, and then I take another plumb,
perpendicular.
those two plumbs are not parallel to each other.
Yeah, they are. They're both perpendicular to the same straight
this
line
is a
underneath.
thought, Bev. This is a thought experiment.
Wow.
If they are not,
off you go.
If they are not parallel, would those horizontal lines intersect?
No. No, they're perpendicular to everyone knows it. Vertical is perpendicular to horizontal. It's a very basic fact.
I rest my case. I don't think I need to say any more.
Absolutely.
You need to have
basic
engage
fact.
in thought experiments,
Yeah, that's
It's not really for him. It's for really the people watching, other people listening.
Yeah,
people
yeah.
who aren't
Yeah.
sure.
What do you
Because
say,
anybody that knows that, if you've got two lines and they're not parallel to each other, and then you draw two horizontals, two lines and another two lines at 90 degrees to that plumb. We'll just call it plumb for ease of sake. Those two lines will intersect.
Okay, right. Well, yeah, we've been doing this. We've been doing a little bit of logic. Like I said, we've been doing university.
Is that not correct?
So we've got a statement, horizontal and vertical are right lines, right? And then we'll follow on from a logical statement. If vertical is a right line of unlimited length, P, then all perpendiculars to it will be horizontal. Q.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. But if we have two, if we have two perpendiculars that are not parallel to each other, P, lines drawn at 90 degrees will intersect.
You can't have perpendiculars that aren't parallel to each other.
I
From
can.
the
I
same
could
straight
take
line.
I could take a cube, yeah, and I could take two perpendicular lines from the faces of those cubes, yeah, which are now going to be at 90 degrees to each other, going outwards, and then I can have two other lines at 90 degrees to those first, and they will intersect every fucking time. So that's just
At
wrong.
90 degrees again, right lines, right? All intersecting.
So they would intersect
right
before
angles.
they met the other line.
They will be
Brilliant.
perpendicular, wouldn't they? Perpendiculars always stay perpendicular. Because that's the
just
meaning
going
of
to
the
say
two right
something
lines
different than
meeting
what
at
you're
right
saying,
angles.
even if you're right, because he's all about just scoring points rather than fucking actually listening to what you're saying. You're real.
I know.
Is it possible? He's like Debbie, rather, and he doesn't understand what this is. It's just a thought experiment. I don't think he understands that.
Okay, so it's not real then, right? You're saying in order to do what you're doing has to be a thought experiment because it cannot be produced in reality, right?
Bev, it could be real. That's what I'm saying. It's just a way that we can explore.
If we all think hard enough. No, it can't be.
Hold on. Let someone finish a thought. So, yes, it could be true. And if it is true, we can measure it in reality, or reality will disagree with it. That's a hypothesis, i.e. the thought experiment, and then we can go and test it.
What do you mean? Someone finished a thought. You stopped using thoughts a long time ago.
But that isn't what you did, Bev. You just kind of denied the thought experiment to begin with, so you wouldn't even go to test it because you just would say that, it cannot happen, so I know that.
We've already been through all of this. We found, like I say, we found the proofs through geometry, and we've developed a method with the numbers that you guys have given us for the drop from the horizontal, which you guys say is measurable, definitely. The water level definitely drops away from the horizontal. Horizontal is definitely a straight line, and it's definitely measurable. That's what you guys say. So, bam, let's go. Let's go measure it.
He doesn't get it. He just doesn't get it.
Remember when you said proposition 16 isn't true on spherical geometry?
Wow, yeah.
That was funny.
Wow. You're catching up now.
Well, I just got here. But I was just thinking about how funny it was when you said it wasn't true in spherical geometry, and you never really thought about it. And it was obviously true.
What?
It's obviously true, even in spherical geometry.
No, it's not. It's the first.
Yes. Remember that quote we found you also that told you that it allowed for spherical geometry?
Who's this? Scott, back here. Is that you, Scott? You don't sound right. Are you sure you're okay?
Who's this? Who's this? I don't. Who is this? Who am I talking to? Who is this, Bev? Oh, Bev. Oh, okay, Bev.
How you doing, Scott?
Yeah.
Remember all that, Bev? I remember that. It was like 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago. It was pretty funny because you couldn't have been more wrong, and you just seem oblivious to it.
Wow. Do you want to go and do you want to?
Yeah, can you expand on that?
Do the course.
We already did. Remember, we showed you that in Proposition 16, you can have an external angle that is bigger than the internal angles, making Proposition 16 true, even in spherical geometry. Remember that?
Even in spherical, how do you tie that in? Just because you say it?
Well, we showed him, and then we also showed him some quotes that were saying things like, "If not for Proposition 16, spherical geometry would not be allowed under Euclidean geometry." Euclid almost certainly would not have included Proposition 16 because he intended to not allow for spherical geometry, but he made a mistake. It was the exact opposite of what Bev was trying to assert.
No, he just didn't write it for spherical geometry at all. It's Euclidean geometry.
And when he added Proposition 16, he added something that was true for spherical geometry.
No, it's Proposition 16. It works in a system of axiomatic system.
Yeah,
Proposition 16 comes after 15 and before 17.
Holds true in spherical geometry. What do you do? Because it obviously holds true, Bev.
It doesn't.
Well, just draw it out.
Scott, it's pretty embarrassing for you, I know, but I mean, you can
hardly, since I read you the quote that told you that it
see what he's talking about.
No,
and then I showed you how it actually allowed.
He doesn't know anything about
geometry. Shall I repost the 16th postulate again? And then we can look at it, and then we can look at what it says.
Please call it. It's not.
Yeah.
Look, do you know what the
robot
is? Did you look at the angles and calculate them and compare them? Yeah, I can't help it. Did you look at the actual proposition and compare them?
It fails in spherical geometry. But I thought personally it would fail because of the parallel lines. But they didn't say it failed because of the parallel lines. They said it failed because of I got that question wrong.
But do you know the angle of an external angle is, right?
Pardon?
Do you know what the external angle in a triangle is? Do you know what they mean when they say external angle?
Yeah. Not an internal angle.
Good. Is the external angle, if I draw a triangle on the surface of the Earth in our model,
it will be the remainder of 180.
Why are you interrupting me, Ed? Why are you interrupting me? If I draw a triangle on the surface of the spherical Earth in our model, is the external angle bigger than the internal angles? Yes, it is.
I don't know. You're doing it in your mind anyway.
That makes Proposition 16 true, Bev.
You see, I said, if you look at that there, who's that? You see, I said the line AB and FC would be parallel, and I'd say that's why. But they say he hadn't invoked what they call the parallel postulate, even though those two lines definitely are parallel, right? But that's not the reason. That's not the reason that fails in spherical geometry, because they say he hasn't invoked the parallel postulate yet, which isn't even a parallel.
Is the external angle larger than the internal angle? It is. So therefore, it's true.
What's true?
The external angle is larger than the internal angle.
The proposition is definitely true.
On spherical geometry.
No.
Yes. No. I'm just telling you how.
No, you're just making a load of words and saying stuff and hoping that everybody listens to you because they think you've got authority, but you haven't.
I've thrown up an image there with a sphere with a triangle on it. Can Bev point out where the internal angles exceed the external ones for me, please?
It fails. Look, you can draw lines on balls as much as you want.
Point on the diagram.
But this isn't me. I'd say spherical geometry was out at the point that a straight line is defined, because that can't happen on the surface of a sphere. But you have to play silly games with spherical geometry. I know.
Do you remember that quote we found? You said
you can disagree with spherical geometry all you want. It still exists.
Spherical geometry
proposition
exists.
16 allows
Wow,
for it.
that's a fight the flat
Proposition
Earth
16 is
thing.
what
That
allows it to happen.
parroting fight the flat Earth. Loads of you doing
It's
that.
just not that hard, Bev. It isn't that hard. We've given you quotes. We've shown you it's true. We're asking you to point it out on the diagram. You're not
I
doing
bet
it.
he's loving it.
You just can't do it, can you?
So again, I just want everybody to know.
It'd be trivial for you to show us.
You can't explain what you're talking about, man.
We have.
can't
We
even
did it
explain
earlier.
it.
We read a quote, and we've given them a diagram right now in debate chat box. Look at the diagram. Point to us where the external angle is, the internal angles, and show us how they're bigger.
Oh, I'll post it again just in case.
We'll just have to make you a video, man, because you don't
What,
understand.
what's more? Look, just point on the diagram, dude.
Yeah.
Look at the diagram right now. You can do it if you know what you're talking about.
Yep.
It's not hard, dude. Just look at it and point.
Yeah, I can point to the bit that says that it doesn't work in spherical geometry, and it's before
You mean the quote
parallel
that said it's
postulate
not
is
spherical
invoked,
geometry?
although it's not
Where
a parallel
is-
postulate. It's just
Remember
a
that quote
is
you
that
read?
on-
It said-
where is
it
that
said
on the-
triangle has
if
180
Euclid had
degrees.
realized that
to
he had
right
just
angle.
allowed for something to be in spherical geometry, he would not have excluded proposition.
Bev, no one heard a word you said. Two guys were
I know.
talking right through you. One
Remember
of them
that,
was
Bev?
M. Scott.
Remember when we read that quote?
For some reason, M. Scott keeps talking through you every time you speak, and then
Oh,
saying,
I wonder what that is. I wonder what that is, Rock. Yeah, gosh, let's think about that for a second.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah, I
tell you what.
couldn't
I'll
tell
think
who
on it.
was
I'll let you know when I figure it out. Do you remember that quote, Bev? You remember what we read?
Such an intelligent man. He can tell everyone.
Oh,
when
Rock.
they're
Yeah, I'll
talking
tell you.
over
I'll tell you
him.
later when I figure it out. I told
I'll,
you. It's
I'll
right
tell you
now.
why this is. I've been dealing with you guys on Twitter for years, haven't I?
You've got
nothing
Just
on
relax.
Twitter,
Let's
and
do
you
that.
know that you've got
Let's do that.
nothing in this argument to have to obfuscate.
We've already given
It's
you the
pretty
quote.
poor
We've
show,
shown you the
guys.
diagram.
Everyone
What else
see.
can you possibly do except for keep running? Just
Everyone
address
can
the
see.
point.
Yeah.
This is not hard for you to do. If you really knew what you were right, you would just address it. You would just deal with it right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
did,
admit
did
I'm
you
shit
not
at
hear that
geometry,
we've been
but
doing a
even I can
university
recognise this.
course on
Okay,
Euclidean
you know what? I'll let you off the hook.
geometry?
If you can't do it, you can't do it. I'm not going to
Yeah.
keep hammering you about it, but just know that if you knew what you're talking about, if you were right, you would simply point it out right now.
I am
Keep
pointing out that
parroting the same
you're just saying a load of shite when you don't know what
Tell
you're
you what,
talking
I'll put it
about.
in the debate chat box. You can read it at your leisure again, over and over.
So again, I just want everyone to note that Bev said we're
Nice.
speaking a load of shite, but even though we've provided a diagram, he cannot actually point out specifically where we
I
are
would-
speaking shite.
I
He's
would
just gonna
love to have
claim
this
it.
conversation.
Now we have been specific in taking
Don't think you
proposition
guys are quick to
16
it.
and putting those angles up there so he can demonstrate how a spherical triangle breaks proposition 16 in Euclid Book 1. He can't do it. He has failed, and he's run away by insults.
It's because of straight line. I'd say because it's the parallels, right? You can't have parallel.
The fifth
model.
So we're
And
going
there
back to the
is
fifth. Yeah.
there is parallel there, but that's not what they say, right? Because they say he only invokes the parallel postulate that they call parallel postulate at about 20 something. So it's pre him doing that. But even though there are parallel lines on it, it's crazy. But they
Hey, Bev,
can't
I'm reading
invoke
from-
that.
I'm reading from the geometry.
What
I'm reading
isn't
from the
a parallel
geometrist-
postulate?
I'm reading
right?
the geometrist Henry Mendel right now. This is what
Wow.
he says. He says,
Off you
it is
go.
most striking that nothing in the elements explicitly rules out a spherical geometry.
Right?
What?
Is there?
How could he say
Yeah,
that?
but Sean, why are you arguing
Does he
with this
say
guy?
that?
He has a
Because he,
certificate on his wall.
why does it say a straight line then?
Why does Henry Mendel
What-
say that?
what
Why does the other
about-
quote say that? And why
what
did he show you
about-
that it's possibly true in spherical geometry?
What about two straight lines cannot enclose a space? What about that?
What about the fact that nothing in Euclidean geometry prevents spherical geometry?
What about two straight lines cannot enclose a space?
I think you just have to look at what your definition of straight is there, don't you?
It's Euclidean geometry, right? It's an axiom. Two straight lines cannot enclose a space.
Which axiom is that?
The
parallel postulate?
9, I think.
Yeah.
It's the parallel postulate.
Parallel postulate's 5.
So
No,
here's what
that's
Henry
not,
Mendel
that's
says about
not
it.
that would
the
be 5.
parallel postulate. Two straight lines cannot enclose a space is not the parallel postulate.
It only rules out
what
one
you call
form.
a parallel postulate is actually
Bev.
an
Bev.
axiom for a triangle.
It only rules out one form of a hyperbolic surface. It doesn't rule out all forms. There are plenty of forms of spherical geometry in which that will be true.
Which form does it rule out?
Hyperbolic surfaces.
Oh, just hyperbolic.
Yeah.
Euclidean.
Non-Euclidean.
Rules out hyperbolic.
Yeah.
Are you
It's
sure?
important to realize that only one
Are you sure?
non-Euclidean geometry is ruled out by parallel postulate. Only one form.
Yes. Which form is that?
I just told you. Here's Henry Middleton's entire quote. You ready? It is important to realize the parallel postulate only rules out one form of non-Euclidean geometry, hyperbolic surfaces. It goes without saying that the geometry of surfaces of spheres is an important part of Greek mathematics. So it is striking that nothing in elements explicitly rules out a spherical geometry.
Nice. That's a nice opinion.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Have you got anything to back that up?
That's the second quote we've got you that directly to refute you. The second time.
Yeah. So
I'll give you a third
two
one.
straight lines cannot enclose a space. Do you not think
I got a third one for you? I'm just going to post in the debate chat box. You can read them at your leisure. How about that?
So, yeah.
I don't understand this, Bev. I mean, we've got people who are advancing mathematics and geometry in maths, people who know a fuckload more about it than you and I.
Yep.
And you
Straight
have
lines.
the gall to sit there and say that they are wrong.
That two
what they're saying.
straight
That's basically
lines
what you're saying. You're saying
cannot.
they're wrong.
Two straight lines cannot.
Yeah, I know you keep
enclose
repeating that,
a
but
space.
I'm asking a question and you're not addressing it. Would you like to address it?
Go on. What's the question?
The question is, you're being quoted by people who are recognized figures in the world of geometry
What are
and
they
maths,
saying?
and they disagree with you.
What are they saying?
Yes, very nice. I know you're Socratic for me, but that's lovely. And I'm asking you, if Scott's given you two quotes now that directly disagree with your position on
What
spherical
is my
geometry,
position? Why are you assuming I have a position? I'm saying Euclidean geometry in
so you
reality
don't have a position
is
even.
perfect. Do you want me to say it again, in case you didn't get it? Euclidean geometry in reality is perfect.
In reality, it's perfect. Okay.
Yes.
Well, that makes no sense whatsoever.
Why?
So again, I don't have a problem with
Newton
you saying
used
something like
Euclidean
that's
geometry.
Fine. That's an opinion. What I'm saying is the fact that you're trying to say that it doesn't apply in certain ways. So if we have a triangle on a spherical surface, that's
not
somehow
a triangle.
It's
not
not
a triangle.
Triangle. That's what we've labelled it. That's what it's called in mathematics.
Yes. It's not a triangle,
and it
though. That's the point.
Conforms to the 16th. I want to say postulate, and it's not, is it? Oh
no.
Proposition.
Yeah, I know. He keeps fucking me up because there's no ninth postulate, which he was talking about earlier. And
I was not talking about a ninth postulate. I was talking
about
an postulate all the time, dude.
axiom.
You said postulate.
No, I said axiom. Ninth
Rewind the tape. Rewind the tape and listen. And if anybody can be
I don't need
asked,
to rewind the tape and
you
listen.
do it. If you want to go and get a soundbite to play it back to embarrass the fuck out of him, that could
He's fucking
be
up, and he's blaming you,
go.
Bev.
Yeah, I know.
Who the fuck cares? Non-Euclidean geometry works. End of story. Done.
Wow, who's that? Wow,
that was Rocket Raccoon. Even the Guardians of the Galaxy against you.
Okay. Well, doing well today.
So again, we've got people like Mendel saying that Euclidean geometry and spherical geometry, we can see the difference there. We know what's going on, and it's not a problem. And some of Euclid accounts for it. And you're saying
some of Euclid accounts.
That's what I'm trying to understand. Yeah, some doesn't apply to it, does it?
Yeah, like 16, or maybe
16
even
applies,
book 11.
Yeah, number 16 is absolutely fine.
What about
16,
everything?
If
about
any
everything
triangle,
after the parallel
postulate? In any triangle, if one of the sides is produced, then the exterior angle is greater than either the interior or the opposite angle.
Yep.
Now, we've just shown on a globe, when you put a spherical triangle on a globe, it complies to proposition 16.
What about this one then? Right, straight lines which are parallel to the same straight line are parallel to each other. What do you think about that? Give us it in reality and on your model.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. I'd say in 2 dimension, if we're drawing stuff in 2 dimensions, that's absolutely fine.
Okay. So you don't think that would work in 3 dimension? What about if I went to book 11, right? To see if I can find anything in book
I'm not
11.
claiming to be any expert on Euclid, and I think you certainly read a fair amount of it. I mean, you certainly
it's here in front of me.
With the topic,
constantly reading it. You never finish.
Yeah, no. As I'm saying, I'm not describing that, but I'm not sure that you understand where it's coming from, because I'm getting some very different views. Certainly from some of the stuff that I've read personally, and where you're coming from. Now that could be my misunderstanding. I'll offer you generosity.
How about this one? Like 2 straight lines, which are each of them parallel to the same straight line and are not in the same plane with it, are parallel to one another. What about that one? Obviously, that doesn't work in spherical geometry because that's solid geometry. I mean, that doesn't apply to the surface of the sphere at all.
Well,
it's solid geometry of reality, right?
So what are you trying to say? Planar geometry precludes
no, this is solid. This solid geometry. Solid geometry.
I was almost done. I almost finished the question, Bev. You're getting better.
Yep.
You're getting better. So does the existence of planar geometry preclude spherical geometry from existing?
This is solid geometry, right?
You're not answering my question.
Okay. Well, like I say, they're completely different, right? Your geometry that you were just talking about before earlier, spherical geometry, is the geometry of the 2-dimensional surface, right? You're stuck to that. You add that 2 dimensions, boom, no vertical height, right? Well, this is planar geometry continues on after the number theory primes. He goes on to a solid geometry, which obviously isn't spherical. I mean, this definitely doesn't apply to spherical geometry, does it? I mean, you'll there in your
interrupted. It's really weird.
Okay, yeah. So
dodecahedron exists
without being interrupted, but no one else can.
Is the dodecahedron a shape? Is that an allowable shape? Is that a solid shape? I don't know.
I wouldn't know.
Big shape.
Do all of your rules apply to a
polygonal shape? I would imagine, right?
Are all lines parallel to the surface of a dodecahedron? Are they all parallel to each other? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, definitely. The
what are you trying
to
say?
Would be parallel.
You're not very clear. We're going to get to that millimeter over a kilometer.
Then the opposite sides would be.
We will get to that, Bev.
Yeah.
Millimeter over
parallel
a kilometer.
Lines are parallel to one another.
About that.
Yeah. Yep. That's the sort of thing in Euclidean geometry. That parallel lines being parallel.
What does any of this have to do with rolling out spherical stuff?
Well, you can't have parallel lines. That's one of the rules, right? Of spherical geometry, right? They had to get rid of parallel lines of Euclidean geometry and rest of the other ones, right? Because you obviously can't draw a circle from any distance, any center, and any distance away. That doesn't work in spherical geometry. You can't, as we just experienced, said, you can't extend a terminated straight line indefinitely in a straight line on spherical geometry. That one doesn't work either. Struggling a bit really with all of the actual postulates. I mean, that's not even applying to the axioms.
You're making false statements.
What do you mean?
Why are you saying you can't draw a circle on a plane? I mean, on a sphere.
No. I'll get it. I'll read it exactly for you. Don't get it. And in the definitions, postulates, third postulate, Euclid, and that a circle may be described from any center at any distance from that center, right? Makes sense, but you are confining yourself.
You do get that part, right? Different distances give you different circles, right?
Yes. All
right, carry on.
At any distance from that center, right? But you have a spherical surface already. It has limits, doesn't it? You're already confined by the Euclidean shape that.
All right, so you can't read. I got
your
that.
surface is bounded by. So you cannot have a circle described at any distance from that center.
You can't read.
He was almost done, Curve. Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that, Rakia. You can fuck off too, Cut.
It's a problem.
So do you get that, Beb? You can't read. You understand that?
I did just read it, didn't I?
You're not reading with comprehension. Let me correct myself.
I read the actual.
You can pronounce the words on the page, but you can't comprehend them and apply them correctly.
Okay, go on then. Go on, Curved.
If you're driving on a horizontal,
no, that's not Curved.
No, it's Curved.
If you're driving,
Curved. Come on.
If you're driving on a horizontal,
Curved. Who's that? Who is that?
If you're driving on a horizontal
Louis.
line,
Holy shit, Louis.
Yeah, how long would it take you? How long would it take you to drive?
Wow, that's zen, man.
Wow, is that some next level shit, that, Louis? Curved, are you going to come back with your explanation of how you think a circle may be described at any distance? That's the problem, right? Any.
No.
Yes, it is. It's the reason it fails. Because you cannot describe a circle.
All right, you don't stop asking, so I will not even begin to re-answer. I've already made the point anyway. That's enough.
Yeah.
See you later, Curve.
See you later, Curve.
So are you just not going to answer my question?
No, your questions are
Lewis has
retarded.
put a question on the table for you. Are you going to shy away from it?
If you're driving on a horizontal surface, how long will it take? I think that was his question. Is that right, Louis?
Yeah, how long does it take to drive?
Genius. Next level shit.
So you're just going to ignore that question?
Yeah, I'll give it the credit it deserves.
He's got you on this one, Bev.
Anyone else can jump in
Bev,
if you
he's got
want
you
to have a go at that one.
He's got you on this one, Bev.
Yeah, it's a joke, right? Or no, it's a punchline somewhere. I'm not so sure. You're just showing how retarded you are. You've been drinking.
I mean, it's just a simple question.
Does anybody else understand why you cannot have and describe a circle from any center at any distance in spherical geometry? Do you understand that, Jeremy? Because that is one of the postulates, right?
He doesn't understand it. He's just a puppet.
Parallel postulate that isn't even a parallel.
You can do the same thing with the sphere that you do with the circles.
Yep. Like you wouldn't be able to go beyond the bounds of the circle, would you?
Different size sphere.
Running out of aces here.
Yeah, just make a bigger sphere. Is that what you're saying, Curved, right?
Yeah, that.
You change the radius, you will change the size. Yes.
Yeah, that's why you cannot describe a circle at any distance, because you have to be confined.
Yeah, but that's describing it at
the
any
sphere
distance.
that's already there.
Right, look,
so if I ask the question,
a given radius of the sphere, and you swing that radius 360 degrees in a plane, that will describe a circle on the surface of that plane of the sphere.
Of the sphere, yeah. Well, you can't go beyond that, can you?
Why do you need to? What is your problem?
That's why the postulate fails, because it says at any distance, and you can't go at any distance because you are confined by the geometry.
Any great circle on any given sphere will have the same radius.
You're really struggling with this, aren't you?
Let me ask you.
No, I'm not.
Let me ask you, Bev. Is there?
Hey, hang on a second, Maury. Hey, Chemo. Fuck
next level
off, bitch. Go ahead, Lori.
So, is there any distance that you cannot draw a circle with.
On
You haven't drawn. You haven't drawn a circle yet, right?
Is it
So
a horizontal? Is it a horizontal sphere?
Wow. Yeah.
So is there any limit to how big a circle you can draw?
Well, but is it a horizontal?
In Euclidean geometry. In Euclidean geometry, no, the postulate is fine. Any circle
determine
can
how
be
big it is if
described.
you don't even know if it's horizontal.
Sure. So let's take this to the spherical geometry then. Is there a limit to how big a sphere you can have?
No. No, you can have a massive
There
sphere.
you go.
But
There you go.
That becomes
So
the
you can
limit.
draw.
That
you
becomes the limit of how big a circle
So you
can draw.
admit that we can have any. We can have any size for a
Yes,
sphere,
but
right?
once you have that
Yeah,
model,
but once there is no once. It's just
go beyond it. So
the point.
I don't know
The
what your
point is
problem
just that
Stu.
we can have this. We can have it at any size. It
Okay.
doesn't say that after we have
The
logged into a
postulate
given size.
In
The postulate
spherical
also fails in
geometry.
the postulate also fails in a Euclidean geometry.
No,
Let's
it doesn't.
let's ask
It's
a
fine.
different
It works
question.
fine.
Oh yes, it does. Let's ask a
No, it's
different
an
question.
infinite
You
plane,
dream,
dude.
yeah. So you
Yeah.
a circle, right?
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
You have drawn a
Drawing a
circle, right?
Yep.
Dude, Bev's never
So
answered a
can you
single
draw a circle? Can you draw a circle outside of that circle?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
any
by,
length, it says
by
it.
still
I'll
saying
read it
staying
again.
inside the
Read it
circle
again.
because you need to stay
Here's-
inside the
here's-
circle.
no,
Can
that's
you
not what
draw
it
a
says.
bigger
It
circle
says
while still staying inside the circle?
that a circle may be described from any center.
Thank you. I rest my
and
case
any
because no one
distance
says
from that center.
Laura, you make no points about anything. You're saying you can have an infinitely huge sphere or something?
No, he's saying the postulates can be invalidated by drawing a bigger circle outside the other circle.
So I can't draw a circle.
Circles are Euclidean geometry, right? We're talking about your spherical geometry, why this fails. You can't have spherical geometry and this postulate apply. Who the hell's that?
Don't worry about who it is.
That's
Doesn't
bad.
it fail on a 2-inch piece of wood?
God, you sound like ass. Who is that? Is that Moyak?
If you can understand me.
No. My car warranty has not expired.
Does it fail on a 2-inch piece of wood?
Wow. Where are you calling from? The 70s?
Does it fail on a 2-inch piece of wood? If you can understand me, then answer. If you can't understand me,
You're in the chopper.
Bev, does it fail on a 2-inch piece of wood?
What?
Fail on a 2-inch piece of wood.
What does what fail?
Keep talking like he's talking. They'll make you a mod around here.
I want to draw a 3-inch circle on a 2-inch piece of wood.
Why are you going to do that? You're not trying to prove spherical geometry that this postulate works, are you? You're gonna try and prove that the postulate, it fails, right? Once you have an object, you cannot go beyond it. I understand. Yeah, you're showing us why it failed.
It doesn't fail. It can have a bigger sphere.
The sphere becomes the limits of your circle. You cannot go beyond it because you go out of the realms of that spherical geometry surface. I don't know why you're struggling to understand this.
You're struggling to understand that any includes some.
Like, imagine you've got a model of a ball. Let's say a globe.
Sure.
Yeah. Now, there is a...
Yes.
And then you've got a compass, right? And you want to draw a circle on the sphere. I don't know why. Yeah. Well, first off, you'd start drawing a circle, and it'd get bigger and bigger and bigger, right? And then it'd get smaller and smaller and smaller. Yeah? and then it wouldn't be on the surface, would it? It'd be.
This guy's a genius.
It's gone.
Make the smear bigger, dumbass.
No. Once you make the surface, that's your spherical geometry surface.
Okay, once you make the 2-inch piece of wood, you've got
Just admit it fails, innit? Dude, it's not hard. Wow.
Moyak, circles can be any size. A sphere can only be one size.
There you go. Thanks, Curved.
Oh my God, that's really what he's saying. Holy shit.
You can't draw a circle bigger than the sphere, can you?
Wrong. Bev, go to the hospital. Go to the hospital.
Okay, so that's another postulate that fails. We've got two at the minute. We've not even got to the triangle one.
Why can't I
Total globe failure.
I know.
Dude, you sound like Brian Leak. It sounds like total shit.
I'll tell you what. I don't know about you guys, but lockdown's almost given me fucking infinite wood.
Wow.
Well, it seems like I'm able to be understood, so don't worry about how bad it sounds.
I have no fucking clue what you said.
Have you guys heard of the postulates, right? And there's the axioms, and then there's the definition.
No,
Everything-
what's a
everything
definition?
within the geometry gets proved, right?
What is a
Bar the
postulate?
axioms,
Well,
obviously you
were saying
can't
you
prove
never
the
said
axioms.
Postulate, and now you're saying postulate left, right, and center again.
I believe the fifth postulate has never been proved.
I've only got 3 postulates. 12 axioms, but only 3 postulates.
I think you've got your postulate pegged, that for certain.
I can't help but notice that Bev never answered my questions.
Who's that, Louis? Was that Louis? Yeah,
I don't
Louis, you're
think he-
retarded, mate. Your questions are retarded.
Yeah, he
It's
can't
Lewis.
answer them.
It was a very simple question. If you're driving on a horizontal line, how long does it take?
And they
Yeah.
were the best.
How long
questions
do you
that have been
drive
asked
for?
All day. They're the best questions.
It takes a
Not
millimeter.
even them ones you made money from earlier.
No, that wasn't the question.
What if you fly in a horizontal line?
Good question.
No, the question was, if you're driving on a horizontal straight line, how long does it take to drive?
Yeah. Retarded question. That's basically
How long
you
does
said,
it
yeah.
take to drive? Where? Yeah, what the fuck is your question?
Are you going to answer
you're
it
a
or not?
retard.
It's a simple question.
Are you retarded?
Yeah, he is.
It's a simple question, guys.
Been drinking, definitely.
Are you recording this? Because that people need to hear his question, and I need to know if they can figure. Can any of the Globers answer his question?
Yeah.
Oh my
definitely
God,
retarded.
Jeremy, you're so stupid. Go ahead, ask the question one more time for Jeremy, and let's see if he can get it this time.
Please.
Yeah,
please
if you're
don't. Please
driving on a horizontal straight line, how long does it?
When do you start driving?
7 pounds.
You don't even know your own question.
No, hang on.
You don't even know your own question.
What color's the
This
car?
is the dumbest shit. Curve said I was curved. Answer his
33.
question.
How
The
long?
answer's 33.
How long?
55
does it take
kilojoules.
33
pounds.
42.
No, just hang on. The question is, if you're driving on a perfectly horizontal straight line, how long does it take to drive?
Answer his
Answer
question.
is Curve
Okay.
is the actor in Mrs. Doubtfire.
Curved. Answer his
For the-
question. If I'm the idiot, because I don't understand.
For the record, I was gone when Lewis changed the
Okay.
question.
Okay.
He didn't change the question. That
did.
was the
That
question.
was his
That's the same
question from before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it?
No, he said, when do
Is
you
it 80
start
miles
driving?
an hour, Lewis?
Infinity.
He said, when do you start driving?
3.
All right. I'll have another go. Is it 1.21 gigawatts?
No,
40
but
kilojoules.
I mean, at least you're attempting to answer the question.
No, I know the
Right.
answer.
I
The
tried.
answer is
I tried.
infinity.
What question?
Infinity. You stole it from me.
What question?
Yeah.
What
Well,
is
there's
the
only
question?
one. There's
Infinite.
only one answer. Axiom 1. You
Someone's
know.
the right answer.
You know it.
It's just a really simple question, guys.
It's
I don't
super
know why you
simple.
can't
Kosho, what's
answer
the
it.
answer? Kosho, what's the answer to his
It's an
question?
infinite straight line.
The answer is that it's traveling at the speed of x.
Kosho, answer his question. It's really simple, bro.
But that's not the answer. We don't need to know how fast it's going. We need to know how long it will take.
The time it will take is X.
So, right, okay.
It's an infinite horizontal straight line.
Infinite.
So the speed and the time are directly proportionate, it would seem.
But you'd have to also have a car that can drive on horizontal, which is a dimension.
We do. We have a horizontal line, perfectly straight at slack, 2 miles long. Take the golf cart. Take the golf. Hold on. Take the golf cart. Take the golf cart and go 2 miles inside slack, perfectly straight. Bev, what part of me talking don't you hear?
I was answering
all of it. All of it. I'm so glad you're here, though, Zanuck. Because
thank you.
Thank
you for acknowledging.
It's gonna be great now you're here.
I'm really happy that Zanuck's trying to tackle this one.
You should be, because we have an answer. You can just go to Slack, get in a golf cart, and drive your 2 miles straight as an arrow.
Right. So I'll ask the question again for you, Zanuck. If you're driving on a perfectly straight horizontal line, it's a horizontal line. It's horizontal and straight. How long does it take to drive?
The whole length of the line?
X is the best answer.
The whole length of the line? How long does it take to drive what? The whole length of the line?
It's a simple question, Jeremy.
The whole length of the line, or?
It's 1 hour.
The whole length of the infinite straight line? It's going to take you...
It's a simple question, Jeremy. You can stop stalling.
All right. Cut it down to bite-sized chunks. How long does it take to drive half the length of the infinite line?
You got to do it in half time.
You're running into Zeno's paradox on this one.
He's being logical.
I like these questions, Lewis. You should come up with more of these.
Final answer.
They're very good. They're good questions for flat earthers.
Yeah. Yeah,
they're simple. What Beb's saying.
They can't answer them. It's a simple question.
They highlight the futility and the stupidity in one easy move. I like it.
Yeah, you're asking how long. Go ahead, Larry.
Not good.
I mean, what, are you asking how long it takes to drive the whole length of the infinitely long horizontal straight line?
It's a simple question, Jeremy.
I'm not too sure.
Is that really what you're asking, or?
Jim, tell us the answer.
Jim don't know the answer. He's just laughing. And
we don't know the answer. Just tell us.
Look, it's not about me.
Yeah, I know. You don't know.
It's all about you, man.
It's not about me.
Have you seen that in the debate chat box, Clary?
Just giggle a little more, Jim. Then we'll know.
Chat.
Yeah. Scott Veach, did you not see that? That Euclid's parallel postulate itself doesn't...
Yeah. You have a real problem with that. You know that, right?
Doesn't rule out spherical geometry.
Do you know what the parallel postulate actually says?
Yeah, it's about a triangle having 180
But do you know what it says, the postulate itself?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. What does it say?
It says, I'll read.
If a line segment...
If two lines...
if a line segment...
If a straight line meet two straight lines so as to make two interior angles, same side, not taken together, less than two right angles, these straight lines being continually produced shall at length meet on the side on which the angles which are less than two right angles. I've been over this a few times. Right. Yeah, it's a triangle. It proves that a triangle is on the side that there are less than 180 degrees or two right angles.
You're making a mistake, and I'll explain what it is now. What that postulate does is doesn't tell you that it's necessary for that line to exist. If a line intersects,
makes no sense.
What?
It's not necessary.
Scott, do you not know how logic works? If then statements.
It says
what would you mean?
Intersect.
What would you be perpendicular to? Or less?
Please, Bev, give us an education on logic.
I'm doing now. So if a line intersects, but you got to first have that, right? Because if you don't have that, then the postulate isn't holding us anything.
If two lines intersect a straight line, yes. Yes,
It
3
doesn't say
straight
that the line
lines.
necessarily does this.
Yep.
If you have that line, you're sufficiently true. But if you don't have a line, it's not necessarily
It's an
true.
axiom. Yeah,
It's not,
it's an axiom.
and it's written in a way that causes you problems.
No, it doesn't cause us any problems.
If a line segment exists, so what happens if the line segment doesn't exist? Is it true or false?
If then, dude, you don't understand logic? My God.
I'm telling you right now, guys, you're the ones that are making mistakes.
Scott
if a line segment does not exist that meets that criteria, what does it mean?
No way, Scott. No way.
If a line segment does not exist that meets that criteria, what does it mean?
It
If a line
means
segment-
you're wasting your time, right?
It's not an answer,
If you're
Bev.
gonna,
This
if
is
you're
what-
gonna
this is what
go,
happening was always like, I'm telling you,
you said
exactly what
if-
you're going wrong, and instead of actually answering a question or actually engaging with the point, you're just talking around.
Damn, Veach, you're failing. You're
I'm telling you how it works.
most of the
if a line
postulates
segment
start
does not
with,
exist, which meets
if.
this criteria, then what does that mean
If
for the postulate?
proposition 32,
Stop
if
talking over Veach. Stop
Yeah, you
talking
are doing
over
that every
people.
time, Bev. It's because you do this whenever you get nervous. Now listen.
But you
If a
never shut
line
up.
segment does not exist, it meets this criteria. What does it mean for the postulate? Does that mean the postulate is true, false? What does it mean?
it's a proposition or that's an axiom.
That's
Well, it's
there's
the
a
same
postulate.
thing.
It's called the parallel postulate. So what does it mean, Bev? I've asked you this 9 times now.
Yep.
What does it mean if a line segment does not exist that meets that criteria?
It says if 2 straight lines meet another straight line.
It says if a line segment intersects 2 straight lines, forming 2 interior angles on the same side that sum to less than the 2 right angles, et cetera, et cetera. If you don't have that situation, what does it mean?
Triangle.
If
Well,
you
if
do
you don't
not
have
have
that
that situation, it doesn't tell us true or false. It is not necessarily going to have that situation. It's sufficiently true if you have the situation, not necessarily true.
Wow, Scott. I'm guessing you're trying to Zeno this shit. This is why Euclid
telling you
wrote
the
this
basic
book like
logic of
this.
it. I'm just looking at it right now.
What the fuck?
I don't know
it has
what
nothing
you
to
don't
do
understand
with-
about this, Bev.
Yeah,
This
this
is
has
the-
absolutely nothing to
sufficient,
do
but
with
it's not
Xenos' paradox. And you're in
Yeah,
a
this
room
has
full of
nothing to
people
do
that
with-
No,
know
this is
the
what
fucking
Zeno
paradox
was
is.
used to do.
This was not Zeno's paradox. There's
Yeah,
nothing
this
to do with
was the
Zeno's paradox.
skeptical attack.
No, this is the fact.
Wants them to do an axiomatic system.
It's
But you
exactly
know
what
this-
Scott said it was. It's sufficient, but not necessary.
That's right.
It's an axiom that states that a triangle will be
No, it
formed
doesn't say that.
on
It
the
says if.
side
It says if
that
is
there are
explicit.
less than 2 right angles because the
But it
the
says that to
remainder
form
forms
really
the
easy to
triangle,
understand.
the other angle.
And so you need the if condition, the a priori condition. You need that to be true for this to have any weight. And it's not always
Yeah,
What
true.
you're
exactly. Yeah.
demonstrating is your
If
total
there's
lack
a
of
straight
understanding.
line.
Well, you say that, dude. I don't know who you are. You say that, but yet you and Bev have not yet done any actual response. You guys are just denying.
You always tell me you don't know who I am.
I don't know who you are. I've never heard your voice before.
Right. Every time I talk to you, you say that.
Well, I don't know who you are, dude. What do you want me to do? You're not that famous. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
What is your name?
I think he's got one of those Men in Black flashy pens, and he does you every time you finish.
What's his name? Who's that
Yeah.
talking?
Cleary.
Yeah, what's his name?
Cleary.
Who? Clearly. I don't know that
Cleary,
guy.
yeah.
Oh wait,
Yeah, I don't
wait.
know
Is he
who
the
that is
guy? Is he the guy that said that he lived next door to an astronaut who told him that the space was fake or something?
Yeah. Oh, he didn't
Yeah.
tell me the space is fake.
Yeah, you're the one that sent me. You tell me toxic DMs every once in a while randomly for no good reason. Why do you do that, dude?
It was like 2 years ago. Yeah, I did.
That's really lame. Dude. You
Randomly.
should not do that.
Do you still do it, Cleary?
At least he remembers you, man.
Oh no,
No.
I just sent him.
So he
like,
does know
a few
who you are
messages.
then, right?
Yeah, he always
Yeah.
does
So
that.
I don't know who he is,
back,
yeah.
back to the point.
Yeah.
I don't
What
recognize
about
him.
what Scott said?
What about
So you
what
guys are-
Scott
you guys are
said?
strangely silent
What
on
he
actual
said was
geometry.
the fact that you could have Euclidean geometry, like you just said, but you could still have something that supersedes it, that still agrees with it, but supersedes it.
or doesn't violate. Let's say.
What you think you can still have the parallel, what you call the parallel postulate,
I think
on
that because of the way the parallel
or
postulate is
in
worded,
spherical geometry, Scott.
I'll go even further. The Playfair postulate, the rewording of it, also doesn't prevent spherical geometry.
Doesn't permit.
Doesn't prevent.
What it doesn't prevent it. Like I don't know. What do you mean?
Right, Bev, this
Is
what
it
talking to you. Like
is
instead of just
it
repeating back
in
what I'm saying,
spherical
why don't you actually
geometry
just address it?
or is it not,
I
Scott?
just told you the answer to that, Bev. Why don't you just address the point?
Well, I'm saying that spherical geometry doesn't have any parallel. So
But
that
what I'm
one,
saying is the parallel postulate is written in such a way that it doesn't actually prevent or exclude spherical geometry because it's written in a way that is not necessary and sufficient.
Yeah. So you don't really know much about this, do you?
This is exactly what you... Again, where are you going to actually respond to the point?
People not knowing much. Just
Well, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you now that it works in reality. That states that triangles have 180 degrees.
That's not what the parallel postulate does.
Yes, it is.
No, we just read it aloud.
You just call it a parallel postulate.
Do we need to read it aloud again? If a line segment intersects two straight lines forming two interior angles on the same side that sum to less than two right angles, then two lines extended indefinitely meet on the side in which the angles sum to less than two right
make
angles.
a triangle.
So what it actually tells us is
they meet
where the lines
to make a triangle.
M. Scott can't read.
Yeah.
So it tells us where it will meet on what side.
Yeah, it makes a triangle on the side. It was 180 degrees in a triangle.
I'll draw it out for you, Scott.
It's not even saying a triangle. It's literally just telling us where it will meet. And that will hold true. That will hold true in spherical geometry as well.
No, it won't. It won't, because that says that they will have two right angles. They will meet.
No, it says
180 degrees.
Two interior angles are the same side that sum to less than two right angles.
Yep.
So it's not two right angles. That's less than two right angles.
Yeah, because the other angle where they meet will be the remainder, right?
Which will
be a triangle, 180 degrees.
Yeah. So if so on that same side where there's two that are less than right angles.
Yeah.
Then that on that side is when the lines will meet.
That's where the triangles form. Yeah.
So if we find situations where
where's parallel mentioned?
It's not mentioned. That's the whole point.
Brilliant.
The whole act is designed to sort of get at the idea.
But that's triangles with 180 degrees or two right angles.
No, that's
right?
what the postulate said, according to what Scott read out. That's what I've drawn.
So that wouldn't work on a sphere.
Where's the triangle?
Yeah, the two right angles.
If you read the postulate,
two right angles are 180 degrees. That's what that shows you.
So spheres don't exist, or what?
No, I'm just saying it's not got anything to do with parallel. It's all to do with triangles having 180 degrees.
Yeah,
that's
two right
not what
angles.
the argument is about.
Less than two right angles.
Because the argument is very clear. It just says meet. It doesn't say meet with less than 180 degrees or less than a right angle.
We would make a triangle. It's saying if there's any remainder, because there are less than two right angles, then those lines will meet, making a triangle.
And that does not prevent a spherical geometry.
Yeah.
It has fucking nothing to do with spherical geometry.
Yeah, absolutely
exactly.
nothing.
But Bev said that this is what causes spherical geometry to be not
No,
true.
they had to get rid of that one. Do you not see why they have to get rid of that one, Scott?
Right angles, right lines.
What do you mean by get rid of it? Because before you said this is the reason why spherical geometry is not allowed.
You do realize, Scott, that isn't in spherical geometry. They had to take it out, and the other ones as well.
No, it
right? They had
doesn't
to change them. Yes, they had to change them, Scott. They had to. They had to change it.
No,
yes,
it's not true. In order to prevent spherical geometry, you need to reword it.
They just change it completely.
You need to in order to prevent spherical geometry, you need to reword it. In order to prevent, you need to reword it.
I'm not preventing anything, Scott.
Scott, do you even know the definitions, the axioms, postulates of spherical geometry?
He hasn't got a clue.
Yeah, clearly, are you actually keeping up with this clearly? Because if you are, then why don't you explain the answer?
I'm asking you. Do you understand anything about
an axiom is a self-evident truth that you assume to be true. A postulate, a proposition is something you're going to derive, you're going to prove to be true.
You're learning.
The difference between a postulate and a proposition, I guess a postulate is something that follows directly from the axioms without needing proof, maybe. Something's observationally true.
Are you guessing?
Yeah, I'm guessing on proposition versus postulate, yeah.
I'm asking you about the spherical
axiom
definition.
So, but do you understand clearly what I'm saying is the way the parallel postulate is written in such a way that it is not actually an airtight prevention of spherical geometry. Because
it has nothing to do with spherical
hold
geometry.
on, Kelly, just listen. Because it allows for a situation in which there is no meeting of the original if condition. If a line intersects, so if that doesn't happen, you're not violating that postulate, are you?
Straight lines. You don't have straight lines on a sphere.
Scott.
if a line segment intersects two things with two interior angles that have that add up to be a certain thing, if that isn't happening, then you aren't violating the postulate.
You don't have 180-degree triangles on a sphere. You don't have straight lines on a sphere. It has nothing to do with spherical geometry.
Yeah, but
should I try to
listen very clearly? I know that you think you have something here, but just listen carefully. You're right. On spherical geometry, when you try to set up this postulate, you try to test it, you'll discover you're not going to meet the first condition, and therefore you're not going to violate the proposition or the postulate.
Right. You won't falsify.
Can I try to clarify this?
Does not prevent spherical geometry. Yes, please go ahead, Laurie.
Yeah, quick saving.
Let's use a comparison. So I'm going to dress this up in a bit silly language, but it kind of works. My proposition is that if you have a camel, it smells. If you have a camel, it smells.
What about if you don't have a camel?
If you don't have a camel, was that rule broken? Yeah, if you don't have a camel, was that rule broken?
What about if you don't have the if? What about that? Have you thought about that?
It doesn't say, the postulates doesn't say anything about that.
That's that question. What about that?
Yeah. What about it? Like you're now arriving at our point, or at Scott's point.
Right. You're much clearer, Laurie. You're much better at that than I am.
That was a really good example, Laurie. No, it was. And the fact that you're laughing again, Bev.
So Bev really
you want to argue that people don't understand logic, and you're clearly showing you don't understand logic, Bev.
Yeah.
I bet you clearly is getting on board. I bet you clearly understands the point right now.
I don't know. Did you just say something then?
Is
that bad for everyone else?
You are breaking up a bit.
And the fact that you're not actually answering the question, but you're pivoting away from it, also shows that you don't want to address the point that Laurie's making.
I'll have any discussion with anybody here, but not camels and stinky arses. Ridiculous. Who's that?
I didn't mention stinky arses.
Dress.
You added
it's not
that.
that he doesn't want to. He literally can't. He literally cannot understand the counterfactual.
Sorry, Scott.
Wow, who's that?
You're roboting really bad. You want to move. Stick your left leg out at about 45 degrees.
Can't hear you, Veach. Your light's going on, but no here.
Complain about my connection.
There we go.
Whoa.
I know.
So Doofus has got all of the main surveyor's pictures and everything. That's got to be Jeff, right?
Veach, we can't hear you, man. There.
Doofus still here. Come and have a chat. Dude, come on.
Doofus is in text. He won't talk. He knows he fucked up. And all these people out here defending his bullshit. He can't defend it himself. He just sits there and listens and laughs.
Try to remember, you two idiots have concluded that the Earth is flat. So
no, I don't think we ever did that, Jem.
Yeah,
I think you're a lying shit again, Jem.
I know. I think you're a lying shit when you try and.
Here's Jem's turn to deflect away from Doofus being Jeff.
Yeah, Ricky's turn to interrupt loudly as usual.
How much does he pay you, Jem?
So I don't buy your lie that you're not a flat earther. You are a flat earther. I will always.
I've told you, Jem. I can prove it is not flat.
Okay. Whatever you say.
Yep.
So,
do you want to take me on with that proof?
No,
Jem.
No, that would be idiotic because you're making an idiotic assertion.
So I wouldn't take me long to prove that there's a hill with an elevation change.
I wouldn't entertain it any more than I would entertain someone who told me they were Napoleon.
Let's put it this way, Bev. You don't believe the Earth is a spherical-like object?
Absolutely not. How could it be?
There we go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I can prove that you scammed the UK educational system.
Scammed? What? What was that?
You guys will notice that
not Kit.
Not a single one of them answered my questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, none of them did. You're right, Louis. Nobody answered your question.
Bev, I have one other way to help you understand what I'm trying to say. This might be helpful. You know what Playfair's postulate is, right?
No.
Playfair's postulate is a rewriting of parallel postulate. It's the one that the Scottish guy did. It says, if you have a straight line and you have a point that's not on the line, there exists at most one line that goes through the point and doesn't intersect the other line. Okay, you've heard that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That's supposed to be equivalent to the parallel postulate, right?
Well, yeah, but it's not really a triangle, is it? I mean, that's taking purely the parallel part of it
you're right.
and sort of doing a magic trick, a little
let me
wizard
just
thing.
illustrate what I'm trying to say about the other one and this one because it's more apparent. The statement of the postulate
not the original, is it?
Just listen. The statement of the Playfair postulate is there exists at most one line that does this property. Okay, there exists at most one line. The trick is the same trick that I'm doing the parallel postulate is this: there are 0 lines in spherical geometry that meet that property. 0. Because there are 0 lines.
You say it's a trick.
Hold on, Bev. Hold on. Just listen. Just use your head and listen. Because there are 0 lines that meet that condition, it is also true there is at most one line. There's 0. That is true for at most one. Do you see?
Okay. So can you have a square in spherical geometry?
What there's nothing to do with what I'm just said. What I'm saying is Playfair's
has
postulate
everything
and
to
the
do
parallel
with what you've just
postulate-
said. You just don't
what I'm saying is
realize
Playfair's
what it is you
postulate
just
and the
said.
parallel postulate are true. They do not contradict spherical geometry because they don't meet the first condition.
Can
There's
you
0
have
which
a
is also at
square
most one line.
on the surface of a sphere?
Go measure the water, babe.
How is that at all relevant? It depends on how you define square, to be honest with you.
Well, you don't know how to define a square?
I don't know how you're defining square.
Wow, that's shocking.
So,
do you want me to tell you?
It seems
Do you
like
want me to
Scott.
tell you Scott, how to define a square? It
What's
has
about what I just
4
said about the
equal
Playfair
sides. It
postulate,
has
Jeff? Why are you
4
running from
right angles. It has
But why are you
2
running from
equal
it?
length
Why are you running?
diagonals that meet
Why are you running from it,
perpendicularly at the center
Why?
and divide each other in half.
Why are you running from the logic?
And it has opposite sides.
Can you turn your mic
parallel.
down a little bit?
That's
It's
great.
like you
That's
might not
great.
hear
But
the other people talking
why
to you.
are you running from the point I just made? I'm trying to express to you why, if at most one is the same thing as saying 0, that includes 0. Right?
That's Playfair.
See the point?
That's not the original, is it?
But if you look at the original, it says the same thing also, and so it just says it in a
It
more
doesn't. It
convoluted way,
says
which
a
is-
triangle. Like we've just explained that. The first one
But
says
it
that
says
a
it in a way that
triangle
is
is
a little bit more
formed, and
complicated,
it
so I
tells
think
you
you're
which
missing it.
side.
And I just
the
thought, oh, you know
triangle is
what?
formed.
Maybe he knows Playfair's postulate, so maybe I can express it in a more cleaner way, so he'll get it, and then he can look back at parallel postulate
Yep.
and see how it's.
I
the
know
same
you
thing.
can try and obfuscate as much as you want.
I'm not. I'm just telling you that at most one is also 0, which means that spherical geometry where there's 0 still works.
Okay.
Logic for the way. I don't even have to know nothing about that. That seems logical.
Yeah,
that's the-
you
that's
with
exactly
Scott's
it.
imaginometry.
It is sufficient, but it is not necessary.
Nobody knows what you're saying, Scott.
I think that Don just
do,
said, I
and
don't even know
about
anything
clear
about
he
it.
You don't hear good, man. You don't hear good, Bev. It's really weird.
You just did the opposite of that, man. I mean, look, I'm trying my hardest to get this explained to you. I'm being nice because I'm actually trying to get the concept across to you. But if you don't get it, you don't get it.
You're
just
looking
think
like
on what I'm
a
trying to say about
retard.
just
Scott,
well, it doesn't
I'd
help
give
that
in.
you interrupt every time. It doesn't help that you start over talking every time. But just think about it like this, Bev. If at most one includes 0, and if in spherical geometry there's 0, then that spherical geometry would not violate the phrase at most one. That's all you have to get
you
wrapped
obviously
around your head
don't
around.
understand spherical.
You say that a lot, but you're not yet addressing anything.
Can
I'm
you
saying.
show us the axioms of your spherical geometry? In fact,
I just read it to
show
you.
us
If-
the definitions for your
if-
spherical geometry.
Use
please.
the same axioms. Use the same first 4 axioms. Use the same first 4 axioms, and then on the 5th axiom or the 5th postulate, you what you say is you notice that the conditional, the if conditional, is not met. And it's because the
I've just
conditional is not
explained
met.
to you though, haven't I?
The 5th postulate
Can't
is not
describe
violated.
a circle.
It's not
at
violated because of the way it's
any
phrased. Bev.
distance.
How do you not understand this, dude?
I'm pretty sure that you don't understand this at all.
If at
You've
most
got the
one-
basics taught to you of the
At most
wizardry
one- at
spherical
most
geometry.
one, means 0 also. In spherical geometry, there's 0 that meet this condition. 0.
God, if you ever shut up, you can actually hear what I said. At most 1 means not 2.
Yes, you're right, but it
means
includes
0
0
too.
though, right, Larry?
Yeah.
And that's my point, because in spherical geometry, there's 0. In planar geometry, there's 1. So the phrase at most 1 includes both planar and spherical geometry.
Yep.
I mean, that's as clearly as I can say it. I mean, that's so simple when I say it like that.
Right, so are you saying that postulate still stands?
I'm saying
Yeah,
because
it does
because 0 exists in spherical
It's
geometry.
not a
it's still
postulate in
true.
my book. I'll call it an axiom.
Okay,
You're saying
whatever.
that axiom still stands in
spherical
spherical
geometry.
geometry.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So all of
It's
the
called
axioms,
superseding.
all of the axioms of Euclidean geometry apply in non.
Non-inertial reference frame.
Right? Can it? Was everyone talking?
I think that holds.
All it's saying is that the
If I-
conditional that's embedded inside the postulate is never met in spherical geometry.
Right. So
And
do
therefore, it doesn't
all
violate it.
of the postulates axioms apply in spherical geometry then, Scott?
No.
Well, no, not all of them, but
No,
the parallel
right.
and the parallel postulate does though, and that's the point I've been
It
trying to make to
does, does it?
you. Well, it doesn't violate.
It does, yeah.
It does.
It does.
Yes, that's the whole point.
It's like saying something can't be in an inertial state in a non-inertial reference frame.
It isn't that hard. It really isn't. Like, seriously. 0
I can
is
still
included
try
in
to
that
clarify.
book.
Yeah. I can
Go ahead,
still
Lloyd, you
try
go
to
ahead.
clarify. So let's make a statement that if you have $1 million, you are rich. If you don't have $1 million, is that postulate invalidated?
Is was that
like
an
the
if,
case
if?
doesn't even apply? Yeah,
Did you just make
the case
an
doesn't
if
even
logical
apply.
statement?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
that's not
It's
even
fine,
a
Bev. You
logical
win the
statement.
award of
I
being, playing the
this
most
is
stupid and
hard for your poor brain to follow.
getting the attention whore. You're the attention whore award, Bev. You have captivated everyone by playing the most stupid.
Everyone keeps asking me questions, stupid, retarded
No,
questions.
you asking questions. Simpleton ask questions.
Okay. Do you want to take this one from Laurie then? Go on. I don't want to be hogging all the limelight.
Simple.
They're clowning you with the question. They hoping that you're gonna have an epiphany, right?
Yeah, he's never
No,
going
there's
to
no
have it.
epiphany.
I'm having a laugh, to be honest.
They give you the benefit of the doubt that you can be honest and have an
Okay, so
epiphany moment.
if what was it again, Laurie? Come on, give us your if logical statement then.
If you have $1 million, you are rich. You would actually stand by that, right? Like let's actually take this a bit seriously. You would agree that if you have it, yeah,
wow, that's weak.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
So if you have, would you actually agree to this? Like
Are
I
you
would say
giving me $1
personally,
million?
like if you give me $1 million, I'm rich.
I will. It depends what you call rich. You definitely have $1 million.
Oh, the rich person who has $1 million.
Yeah. If you want to axiomize being rich as having $1 million, yeah, logically that will. If then.
So
if
I
you
don't
have $1 million, then you are rich.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a good
so
statement.
that makes so far sense. So I don't personally have $1 million in my pocket. Does that mean that if I have $1 million, I'm not rich?
I don't know. Anybody else want to help him out with that one?
The answer is no, Bev.
What,
Because
if he
that's-
didn't
that's
have
really
$1
not that
million,
hard.
was it?
Yeah,
It's just not that hard.
yeah.
dude.
So my claim is if I have $1 million, I'm rich. Well, I don't have $1 million, but was my statement that if I had $1 million, I would be rich in that case, was that statement invalidated?
I don't know, because you just
Of
you
course,
didn't really
right.
put
The answer is
any
fucking
other.
no.
You could only be rich if you had $1 million.
So is the first statement
you could have
invalid?
been rich if you had a penny. I don't know. Like that wasn't implied within
Yeah,
the
you
first.
could be rich if you had $2
That was a
million.
bad
Yeah.
setup, but
You probably you need to take a class in logic, man, or just I don't know, go back to bed.
Yeah, like a university,
wake up and start
a
over.
university
Yeah,
class.
we're actually enrolled in a university level.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's not hard then. We have a logical argument. They have a proposition and a conclusion. It's a very simple logical argument. If the conclusion is not true because one of the propositions is false,
then,
that doesn't make the other proposition false. It doesn't make it invalid.
What if you
the proposition is still going to be valid?
Mind your P's and Q's, and you should be fine.
What if you're
what alien life form are
can't
you?
spend the money. You're not rich. What if you were stuck somewhere and you couldn't spend it?
Bev, you alien, Bev.
Could you be rich in knowledge?
If someone says if you have $1 million, you are rich, and the next proposition is you don't have $1 million, and the conclusion is you are not rich. Is the first statement valid? The first proposition, it's still a valid proposition. It's just not a it's not a true
just
one.
an if then. Yeah. It's just a statement you made.
I mean, no, it is a true one. The second one's not true.
It's not dependent. They're not dependent.
Yeah, it's a valid statement. It's just one that doesn't apply to your case because you don't happen to be rich.
Right.
It's like a situation that doesn't even arise,
right?
so it doesn't get violated because it doesn't even arise.
Yeah. All men are mortal. Kermit the Frog is a man. Therefore, all men are mortal. Therefore, Kermit is mortal. You know, all men are mortal is true.
Wait, that's
Kermit the Frog
correct.
isn't a man. Therefore, is Kermit the Frog mortal? Yeah, we don't know. It's not answered with our logic.
The question is whether or not the statement is valid, and if it's going to be valid regardless if it's true or false.
Yeah. Like, here's a good one for you, right? The curvature rate of air is altitude dependent. Do you like that? You reckon? Good. Different curvature rates for different altitudes, right? On your model, of course.
Air doesn't have curvature on our model.
What?
Air doesn't have curvature. What are you talking about?
So then water doesn't curve.
So the curvature rate.
You better rethink that, Brenda.
Yeah, you fucked up, Brenda.
Your line of sight rate.
Logic is great, isn't it?
Brenda, you don't think air has curvature in your globe heliocentric model?
No, it has volume.
But it doesn't. So water doesn't curve.
Yeah. I've got another one to go with it. It's like it's twin. Is elevation curvature is radius dependent.
Is air water?
Wow, do you like that one?
Is air water? Is air water? No, it can't be. No, it can't be. You're
what is
moron. You're a moron. Shut up, moron. Air is not.
What is water vapor?
Shut up, Shut up, moron.
Water vapor is present in air.
Brenda.
Water vapor is present in air.
You don't know what you're talking about. Air and water
Brenda, your own side is telling you to maybe simmer down a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, air is a gas. Water is a liquid. They're different things, morons. Shut up, morons. Gases and liquids are different things.
You've been drinking or smoking, so you might want to
Anybody here want to contest that atmosphere, the gases and liquids are different things?
No, but they both bend.
Wow.
Gases and liquids. Try to focus. Those of you who have trouble focusing on words, try to focus.
Everyone here but you.
Everybody here thinks that gases and liquids are different things. Anybody want to contest?
You're going to try to mess it up now, aren't you?
Is there a distinct threshold, or is it now?
No, that's not the question. Are they different things?
Brendan's trying to say air is water.
But I don't know how distinct.
Is that what you're trying to say, Brenda?
What?
Are you trying to say that air is water?
No, I'm contesting the people who stated it.
There's qualifiers, obviously, right?
There's no qualifiers.
I'm struggling what you're trying to say.
No. For standing intermediate.
Standing. What the fuck are you talking about? Are you speaking English?
To be fair, she's a little emotional, and I think we ought to give her the benefit
about the level
of the
of
doubt.
bonding and whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about. You're
Brenda,
She sounds like she's had a
I
bad
talk about
day.
liquid glass. I talk about liquid glass.
You heard somebody else don't understand. And
Brenda, why are there humidity levels in the atmosphere, Brenda?
Shut up.
Maybe go take a break, Brenda.
Answer the question.
Brenda, they're doing these solid liquid things, so I don't know if they're going to be like liquid gas type of transition.
Is a gas the same as a liquid?
No.
Okay, you've
Good.
been warned. You're going to end up on the video.
But I'm telling you, I don't know how distinct you know what I'm saying, that is, or if is it, you know what I mean? Like,
Brenda is saying water's air.
Mm. Yeah, the same thing, right, Brenda?
There's air. Air is water.
Never said any such thing. How do you get from I'm contesting the claim that gas and liquids are the same to me saying gas and liquids are the same?
Who's saying gas and liquids are the same? You came with that, Brenda.
Somebody was.
That was
Somebody asked if the atmosphere, if the air curves.
Yeah, we did. I said it's a logical statement.
I think that was
the curvature
original.
rate of air is altitude dependent. It's a geometrical sort of thing. We do a lot of geometry.
What was that question again, Bev?
Brenda, you do realize water could exist in 3
Be quiet, moron. I'm talking to a moron who's just a little bit smarter than you.
Brenda, it's a statement. We do a lot of logic now, seeing as we're doing a university course on it.
We don't understand elementary logic, so
okay, right. So we're offering up statements, right, that for us to make into logical things. So the statement is the curvature rate of air is altitude dependent.
Curvature is not a concept that applies to a gas.
So the atmosphere doesn't curve.
It's a category. It's a
category.
category.
There's no curve.
It's a category mistake. Gases don't.
We can scrub that one off.
Curvature is something that would apply to maybe liquids or solids. It doesn't apply to.
What about a fluid?
Air doesn't curve. We can. Fluid? Good. I'm glad we can scrape that one off. No curvature to air.
No curvature to water.
Yep.
No
What would
curvature
it
to
mean?
air.
What would it mean? What would it mean to apply the concept of curvature to a gas?
There's no air around the curvature of your sphere.
What would it mean to apply the concept of a curvature to a gas?
Where the water meets the air, there's no curve there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obvious. Right? Yeah. Plane surface, a two-dimensional surface with no curve. She's off.
Closet.
One at a time, guys.
It's a simple word, morons. It's simple, morons. How does the concept of curve apply to a gas?
Curving is not a concept.
He said it's altitude dependent.
Okay. Right? You're not answering the question, moron. How does the
that's it. That's it.
Try and do it without the name calling, Brenda, please.
It's because gas. It's because gas
can't
takes the shape
control
of its
itself.
container.
How does the concept of curvature apply to a gas?
It's not a concept.
Step away, Joby.
Curvature is a concept.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
How is it a concept?
It is a word with meaning. That's what a concept is.
The globe model curvature is a concept. It's not real.
reality.
Yeah.
Real quick, I've got a message.
Geometry is not a concept.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we've been saying this all the time, right? Euclidean geometry, Euclidean three space, and right line geometry is definitely what we use in reality. It's not a concept.
Yeah, because air doesn't curve. According to Brenda, air does not curve.
You use flatline geometry.
Do people know what the word concept means? You don't even know what concepts are.
Yeah, like a globe.
What's a concept?
Some imagined La La Land.
A concept.
Yeah. No curvature to air.
A concept is an idea, a thought.
A thought experiment, like making shit up. Yeah, that guy did that earlier.
A concept is an idea.
Why don't we? I think we're arguing about the wrong things.
Fantasy.
THOT.
Curvature can be a concept.
This is a good argument, isn't it?
Properties are concepts.
Sure.
We can come back down to land if you want. Elevation curvature is radius dependent. It's based on a similar sort of thing, right? A similar way, right? The higher you get, the different the curvature changes, right? Because they're never really parallel curved lines. They're just concentric circles.
Unless
right?
what
So
Scott said was true.
The curvature rate changes, doesn't it? You know, like if you have a bulge in a certain area or where it gets higher around different land masses, right, where the water goes there will be a different curvature due to the elevation changes, the differing elevation, obviously. I mean, that would be measurable, wouldn't it? When you're measuring the curve, you would be able to say that the curve differs.
What's your next point?
Just making a logical statement, right?
This is a
Up for
bit
discussion.
Unless what
Debate.
Scott said was true.
How would you measure curvature?
Yeah.
Doofus? Straight line.
Is he here? Is he still here? Oh, no,
Hey, Doofus, did Belu tell you about Tilt?
He might have changed his name, Clary.
I think Clary's talking to you.
Yeah, did Belu tell you about Tilt, Doofus? Or did Jesse?
Belu.
Yeah.
Are you going to answer him, Bev?
I think he's gone. He's either gone or changed his name.
My bad. I thought he was talking to you, Bev.
To hide somewhere else now.
He meant Bev when he said Doofus.
Yeah, no, he didn't. He meant Jeff, the main surveyor. He's not here anymore.
Sorry if you thought I was
unless he
speaking
changed
to
his
you,
name.
Coach.
Rip Jeff.
Do most people call you Doofus, Coach?
Me? No. That's why I thought you were talking to Bev.
You think he's Doofus?
I had a dog called Doofus.
I even referenced Bev. Bev even responded to me when I said it.
Oh, Babs is here. Good, Babs. Is he in? Is he actually in here or not? Just in the chat.
Hey, Babs is here. Let's go.
Yep. Space Pope. Come on, let's get in. We're meant to be sorting out a debate. He's here now. I don't know what he wants to debate. Let's get it on. I've been waiting here all day.
What up, Babs?
He's calling himself the God.
The gravity god.
He's the flat Earth god. He's the Glober flat Earth god.
He's in the voice chat.
The Messiah.
He's not in the
voice chat. All the flat Earth arguments were his idea.
Yeah, he's got them all.
How do you feel about that?
Circular horizon, right? I think that's his.
We don't give a fuck about a flat Earth.
Yeah, I don't know who else thought of that, right? Any of you guys think you thought of the circular horizon? Well, you didn't.
Hey, Bob, when are you going to do your test? We've been waiting for a long time.
Wow, you're waiting for me to do my test?
So you can look like an idiot.
Is that so you can go after me? You don't want to.
Yeah. We want to go after you.
He's pitching his test now as a
we're looking for
personal proof. It's not for anyone else.